Yo, welcome to the Black Spinner Circle vidcast. I'm Al Horta, my esteemed co-host Andy Rodriguez. What's
Hey
up,
guys,
brother?
how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I am excited. Just a little disappointed that I was the one that did not get to go to Metallica with you guys in Florida.
Yeah, man, it was an epic weekend, man. Myself, Eddie Canestracci there. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, what's up? Always happy to be here. And yeah, we had a blast this weekend. It was a great show. And, Al and I have gone to a lot of shows the past year. He's the hookup guy. If there's any show you want to see, Al Horta will get you there.
I think Manny will attest to that, too.
Yeah, Manny. We've been to a few shows already. We saw Alice Cooper before this one. But this was great. It was amazing. It seems like Lars plays better now than he did like 5 years ago. Like they were really tight and good, and it was an amazing show. I was very happy, and it was a last minute thing. I wasn't planning to still be here in Florida. I had to stay here a little bit longer than I was expecting, and then Al hits me up and says, "Hey, since you're still here, you want to go to the Metallica show?" It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, it was awesome.
Well, Al gave you my message, right?
Yeah, I first I was hesitant because like Ralph Fier, I really hate stadium shows. And I was like, I don't know if I want to see Metallica in a fucking stadium, and especially if it's nosebleeds. I just can't even bother with that. I don't fuck with nosebleed seats. And Al said it's second. It's like the second tier down. It's not the nosebleeds. And then he added, Manny says if you don't go, you won't be metal. He won't, or
you'll lose your metal cred.
You'll lose your metal cred. So I took that as a fucking challenge. So
that does happen from time to time.
Yeah. So so I went, and then it's funny because then I realized too it was the better of the two nights because it was not the Limp Bizkit show. It was the Pantera. And I went, oh shit, it's actually the Pantera tribute and Suicidal Tendencies. That's actually a really good lineup, good lineup. So
well,
I was like,
Edwin, I must really like you because I was planning to take two girls, but I only took one. So this is how much I like you.
Yeah, well, I'm transitioning, so I'm halfway there,
1.5.
Yeah, Ralph knows what that's like. He's been through that.
Speaking of Ralph.
Although then he transiised back.
Speaking of Ralph from Almost Human and Rock and Roll Podcast,
snap.
Ralph Vieira. What's up, Ralph?
By the way, I'm still a chick. I just haven't shaved in a while. But anyway, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Horta, on the Black Spinner Circle. I love this Black Spinner Circle because you dudes are not racist, unlike the White Spinner Circle. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, stay clear of the white spinner circle guys. They're bad news.
I know.
They suck. They're racist.
All their vinyl's white.
Yeah.
Well, it's terrible because I'm Latino and I got thrown out of the brown spinner circle.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
That's the worst.
I want to thank Ralph, Eddie, and Manny obviously for coming on. It's kind of like tonight's not my birthday, but my birthday's in 2 days.
Hey,
So
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. We'll consider it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you what I got you last year, Al.
Nothing.
This is your Manosphere podcast birthday, the one that counts.
I say right now, put this up in 2 days, and we're gonna pretend it's live on your birthday.
Okay.
Don't edit
Hey,
it.
it's my birthday. It's June 12th.
Wow! Happy birthday!
Mackerel, another year, killer, dude.
And nothing like 2 days before my birthday, like slicing my hand open and getting stitches.
Oh fuck! When did this happen?
It happened this morning while I was working.
What did you do?
I slipped. I was climbing up a slight hill, and I was climbing over it was a construction site there. So there's it's what they call a silt fence. So it's like they put these fences around. It's like they do that for limits, so they don't do anything outside of the limits construction wise. So it's almost like a safety fence in a way. But I was climbing up and I grabbed the wooden stake to kind of like lift me up a little bit. And as I was climbing over just putting my leg over the fence, my left foot kind of it slid on the dirt down the hill a little bit, and I caught myself on the wooden stake, and it fucking sliced me open like right here.
You're all right. You don't need
I got 11 stitches.
Did you get like a did you get like a Tetris shot?
No, because I sliced my hand 8 months ago, the same hand,
Oh,
and I got a tetanus shot back then. So they said I didn't need one.
so it's your lucky hand.
Yeah, it's my lucky hand. Yeah, my right hand.
There. Oh,
Are you right-handed?
Yeah, I write right-handed.
Oh, you're messed up now. You can't jack off for weeks.
No, I'm lefty on that department. Anyway,
imagine if Dave Elfison fucked up his hand like that. Oh man, that'd be a tragedy.
I only use my left hand when I'm fantasizing. I'm with a girl with Down syndrome.
it's a stranger.
Well, that's the thing. If you use
A girl with
your
Down
other
syndrome.
hand, it feels like another person. Sometimes.
Exactly, the stranger.
The way I do it with my left hand, it feels like I'm getting a hand job from a girl with Down syndrome.
Or cerebral palsy.
Lefty Lucy.
No,
What it is.
cerebral palsy, that would hurt.
Anyway, man. So anyway, no, I'm all right though. I just got stitches. It was a good excuse to go home early anyway. So.
All right.
Anyway,
No, wait. Why are you climbing over a fence at a construction site? You were trying to steal a drill, right?
shh, don't say anything, man.
Yeah, I know you.
I was trying to get a fucking backhoe. Actually, if you're gonna steal something, go big. Anyway, since we're in the month of June, it's the 6th month. I came up with the theme: band 6 albums, top 10, your favorite 6 albums by the bands that you love. It doesn't have to be your favorite album by the band, but if it's a great album that you love, that's their 6th album.
Yeah,
it goes on your list. So top 10 and 5 honorable mentions. Manny's probably not even done with his list yet.
No, I just finished it just now, but no honorable mentions.
No, and I started mine about an hour ago. I pulled out all the records.
Yeah.
I started 15 minutes after I got. Before I logged in, I started because I had to leave the bar to come here. So to do that.
You're always leaving the bar, Manny. This just seems to be a pattern in your life.
Manny, I think you have a problem, dude.
It's all right. I used to be a bar fly.
Drinking. I don't shake when I drink.
Hey, look. He ain't got a problem because at least he can leave the bar.
There you go. Yes, that's right.
This is true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the theme of tonight. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Nice all-star cast here tonight, and love you guys always for coming on when you can. And Ralph, I know today's the year since you lost your dad, so I want to offer my condolences to you again.
Thank you so much. They put me a plaque on his gravestone.
Yeah.
Today, and it was. Anyway, let's keep going, man.
Let's go. Let's not bring this down.
Well, before we get started, I did want to say I don't know if anyone here likes him but me, but I was Sly and the Family Stone. We lost Sly Stone, and he was a huge influence on the music world, funk, rock, R&B, great songwriter, and he kind of blew it down the tubes in the mid 70s with drugs, but it seemed like he got his life together. It took a while toward the end of his life, but I'm glad he did. I'm glad he got his legacy back. I'm glad he got his royalties finally. But I just wanted to mention that he was a great artist, and if the only thing he did with Woodstock would be great, but he's been sampled by God knows how many hip hop artists. Prince owes a huge debt to Sly, and a great artist, multicultural band when that was unusual. Anyway, the guy was a great artist, and even if you don't like him, he deserves mad respect for his contributions to music in general.
Oh yeah, and it's a good thing you brought that up because he pretty much invented his own genre of that funk R&B sound that was just so fantastic, and with the backup singers and the harmonies and the message that Sly Stone was putting out there was always peace and love. So yeah, we did lose a big contributor to music yesterday.
How old was he, by the way? I didn't even know.
83 years old.
83.
Yeah, but he'd been out of the spotlight since 1974, basically. He tried to come back in the 80s, but he also had a mental illness. It wasn't just drugs, and a sleazy manager sold off his publishing, and his daughter finally got it back last year with the help of. They didn't say what musicians helped, but finally, because he was living. What's funny was once he got his, because it was a big check. He was living in a van in front of his daughter's house and got this big check, and he was happy he got the check, but he didn't do anything. He continued living in there. He wrote a book last year on his autobiography to help with his family. And what I really liked, though, they asked him, "Do you have any regrets?" He goes, "No, I lived the life I lived the life I wanted to." And he didn't blame the music industry or his parents. He took full responsibility for what happened to him. So maybe he wasn't that mentally ill in the end. I don't know, but I liked him. I
like his music too.
I got a card in my wallet too.
Yeah, fucking Eddie's like,
He just go to a party.
Everybody be quiet. Let's hear what Eddie's saying to his family.
Eddie, stop arguing with your mom.
Hey, Edwin, we all stayed.
They're my friends, Mom.
What's happening?
We all stayed quiet so we can eavesdrop.
Okay. Did you hear anything? Could you hear anything?
No, not really.
Yeah, I said, Eddie, clean your fucking room.
No, she did. You know what? But literally, my mom said, "Don't drink too much wine."
The only thing I heard was, I don't think that hitchhiker in the trunk is breathing anymore. The only thing I made out.
I was like, "Mom, how do you expect me to come? You got to kill him first, then you come.
Well,
come on."
Well, all I heard
knows
is,
that.
Marco,
That's just
what
science.
happened to all the Kleenexes?
Oh my God.
I was like, did we get a little too blue on your show?
Ralph,
That's
man.
right. Me and Ralph, we get, on his show, and, we get, I know you guys, you're like classy. So sorry about that.
I'm fucking far from it. Anyway.
Yeah, they are classy. I'm going to take after these two and stop listening to Ralph.
Ralph, love your shirt, man.
Yeah.
I saw you post up that picture the other day too. I think was it a clip No, somebody posted a clip of that ending scene.
That's one of the greatest endings in any movie.
I think you posted it, didn't you?
I might have. I don't know. I'm 60 years old, Al. I don't remember what I did 10 minutes ago.
We do a what's spinning section of anything we've been listening to. Ralph, you want to mention anything you've been listening to lately?
Well, I don't know who sent this to me. Wait, yeah, I have it over here. I got this in the mail today, and I'm like, I didn't order this.
Oh, wow. You got the
Wow,
Australian one.
cool.
You know what? Wow.
Oh, look at Al Horta having that. Also have it.
I have it too.
You know,
I don't have that.
not too long ago, I did track by track, and I slammed the hell out of this album. I was like, this shit ain't nothing compared to the American version, because the American version combines the first two albums.
Yeah.
Best of, except for the only song that fucking I even like more than anything on High Voltage is You Ain't Got a Hold on Me. That song is like one of my favorite songs ever. Yeah, for that song not to be included on that High Voltage is a crime. But the rest is awesome. But anyway, I played this today, and I'm going to make a video on my Currently Cranking apologizing because I still prefer the American version, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flow of it. It wasn't bad. And man, there's nothing like putting on a brand new vinyl where you don't hear one crackle or pop, and it's just the best sounding shit ever when you put some, because this was sealed,
Wow.
But yeah, I've been listening to this. I listened to, what else? And the Bee Gees. I've been listening to a lot of Bee Gees lately. Of course, the Beatles, because I always listen to the Beatles. They're always a mainstay. Cheap Trick and Merciful Fate. That's what I've been listening to lately.
Cool. Eddie, what about you, man? Anything?
I've been listening to the Bee Gees a lot too. I was listening. I mean, I love kind of all their eras, but I was listening. I love the mid '70s album, Main Course. That's like a transitional album. It's like it's when they start getting into the disco and funk, but they're still doing some soft rock shit. I really love that album, but I love a lot of the like Cucumber Castle's a great album. There's a lot of great shit from the Bee Gees. But what I was listening to that, I was listening to the new Alice Cooper track. I've been enjoying. I like the 2 new songs. Yeah, they're not like mind blowing, but they're solid. They're just like solid, good, fucking rock and roll music. And I feel like that's going to be the album. I feel like it's going to be a solid album. And I was not actually optimistic because every time they've been like teasing this Alice Cooper group thing for like 5 years now, and it always results in like one track here or one bonus track there, and nothing's really been that good. So I've always been like, okay, whatever. But this stuff I like. I think this could be a cool album. I'm looking forward to this album.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, I was gonna buy it on CD because I'm kind of like against buying vinyl now if it's new stuff. I only want to buy analog vinyl from now on. So I didn't order it on CD yet. I was gonna pre-order it, and then I believe it was Joseph Staub.
Yeah.
Put up a link that it was only like, what was it, like $14?
$18 for the vinyl.
$18 for 2 vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a good deal.
So I said, fuck it, I'll get it on
I
vinyl.
missed out on that deal, man. I didn't go take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know what? The CD costs more, and I was like, whoa. Okay, I gotta get the vinyl. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way, doesn't that make you kind of want the CD now, though? Because it's like more precious.
I do. And I fell in love with CDs hardcore lately. I've always loved them. I always defended CDs, but now it's hardcore. Like I've been buying a lot of CDs, lately. Like,
dude, you got a lot of music for cheaper, man.
Yeah. It sounds great. And just yesterday, I ordered because I lost it, the first Thin Lizzy on CD, but I bought one that has like a bunch of bonus tracks, and one of my favorite Thin Lizzy songs, Dublin, is one of the bonus tracks because that's on none of the albums. And I was cranking that, man, on CD. I was like, damn, that sounds good. I love compact disc. I love them. I still love vinyl, but I love compact.
I'm with you on the like lately, like now, like I tend to stay away from modern vinyl. I don't, there's no, dude, everything is recorded digitally anyway, so I see no point in like really buying a vinyl unless I hear a review where the vinyl is mastered like maybe better than the CD or something, because sometimes they do like brick wall the CD, and you can't really do that on vinyl because you're going to make the needle skip, with it's kind of like a technical thing, but you can't really crank the volume on a vinyl, although some of it you can. I mean,
there are some underground bands that still like use analog recording. In those cases, they might sound better on vinyl. But if it's recorded digitally, Ralph's not. There's really no reason to have it on a vinyl.
Yeah, why are you going to buy a $30 vinyl when you can get the CD for like $10 or something?
Yeah, it's going to sound the same.
Actually, CDs are going up in price, guys. CDs are making a small comeback, but they're going up in price.
All my everything I released, my albums, every one of them were recorded analog. Every one.
Yeah, so there you go. People gotta get the vinyl then, because that's the best way. It is. I do think, and I'm sure you agree, Ralph. Vinyl's still best for things recorded analog.
Oh yeah.
Look, I'll give you an example. Not the other day, like a month ago, I did the test. I have the new Judas Priest, Invincible Shield, whatever it's called, on vinyl and CD, and I did the test, dude. The CD sounded better. And then I did the same test on I forgot what it was. It was new. I did the same test, and I couldn't tell the difference, like which one sounded better.
No, you can't. You could totally hear the difference when it's like an old '70s album or something, but you can't hear the difference from like kind of like the '90s on. You can't really hear the difference.
But also, it may be better on vinyl, but I was listening today, Pronounced Leonard Skinner on CD. Fucking beautiful. fucking beautiful sounding, you know?
But they were, especially if you get a remaster, there were later in the 90s. Like, problem is, like, 80s, like, CDs got a bad rep because, like, the first wave of CDs in the 80s were very low quality. But by the 90s, they had like 24-bit mastering. They got a lot better, and there would be pretty good dynamics. Even like I had like that Beatles mono box set on CD, and this was like during the fucking loudness war, but they didn't cave into that shit. They really mastered those albums with like proper respect, and they sounded great on CD. They sounded amazing, you know.
Yeah, they do. Now, CDs sound great, and when you do hear a vinyl, the warmth of the sound is much more intense than a CD.
Yeah.
It
At
is.
the same time, you put on that CD, it may not have that warmth, but it still sounds good. It's like, hey, man, if this is what I got to live with the rest of my life, fine, you know?
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I got on CD that I hear little things. I'm trying to think of one example. God damn, All Moving Parts Stand Still from Black Sabbath. If you listen to I have that box with all the Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
If you listen to that one, you hear that, not maraca, but you know that thing that you get a stick and you click?
That thing.
You hear that clearly where you can on the vinyl. So, you know, sometimes they fix it out. Technical Ecstasy, for instance, the box set. The songs are completely different because they took out a harmonica that was in the original one. It's completely different songs.
Remixed, right?
Yeah, because the Steve Wilson guy got the original tapes, and what they took off the original tapes, he put it back in. And sure, I prefer, you know, because I lived with the original more, but it was still interesting to hear shit like that.
Yeah, I haven't actually listened to that yet, and I'm looking forward to it because Technical Ecstasy is my least favorite of the 70s albums. That's probably the only reason why I didn't rush out immediately to get it, but I still love it. I mean, I love all, you know, 70s Sabbath.
Well, it's pretty pricey now, anyway. So,
well, I got connections. I can get it. Right?
But I've always been more of a CD guy. I do buy vinyl, obviously, because I bought that high voltage. But I prefer CDs. But I like the ritual of listening to an album. What I mean by that, I like getting up, turning the record over. I like reading the liner notes. I feel like when you listen to a record, opposed to a CD, I'm investing time, even though I'm doing the same damn thing.
It is more of an experience.
Right. For the CD, I don't tend to look at the liner notes as much as I do with a vinyl album. So
that reminds me, like years and years ago, I heard Eddie Trunk say that, oh, you know, he's a CD guy, which is cool. But then he goes, yeah, I don't like these vinyls. You know, you got these vinyls, like 2 vinyls. After 3 songs, you got to get up and turn the record over. I'm like, you lazy fuck.
Right.
Well, that's also shows that he's only listening like new shit too, because only like new CD age albums you flip
are double.
Through, so yeah.
Yeah, but that's
You know, they were single.
Manny, what have you been listening to?
Well, right before you guys came on, I have this Megadeth bootleg unplugged from South America in 1997. And yesterday I listened to Black Sabbath, Born Again on vinyl. What else did I put on? I had it listed. Bad Company, Fame and Fortune. Do you remember the Brian Howe version of the band?
Yeah. Yep.
And David Bowie, Waiting in the Sky, which was Record Store Day. But I listened to Black Sabbath, Born Again a couple of times, and I've been listening to a lot of Jimi Hendrix, which is not unusual, but a couple of live things, live at Maui, which is excellent, and I actually listen to Smash Hits, the newer version of it. The only thing that's new is they put the cowboy cover on it, was meant to be. From Target when it was a Target exclusive, and I found it for like $7, so I bought it. Anyway, that's what I've been listening to.
Cool. How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of different things. On last Thursday, I was on BS Sessions, and we were doing our favorite double albums. So I still kept a couple out, especially nighttime, because I have certain albums I like to listen to late at night. This double album called Todd by Todd Rundgren.
Yeah, I
It's
know
a
that.
really good album. It's a mind trip. I absolutely love it. He's a really good guitarist, and he really takes you different places. So I spun that, and then for late Saturday night, Exile on Main Street by the Stones.
My favorite.
Can't go
Stones
wrong
album,
with that.
by the way.
Yeah, a
That's
really
my
good
favorite.
nighttime album, man.
Amazing nighttime album.
Yeah,
When you listen to I feel like when you listen to Exile Main Street, you're doing drugs, dude.
Although I gotta say, like, it's a good daytime album too if you're doing enough cocaine. in
yeah,
your day. Yeah.
yeah. But if you're not doing cocaine and watching baseball late at night, that's a good album to put on.
Dude, I throw that album on. I've got a contact buzz. I mean, that album is great.
And then I spun this one last night because I wasn't too sure if this was his 6th album because he's got so much going on. So I just left it off. But Apostrophe by
I don't know what the
Great
hell's your
album, great
6th album, man.
Yeah, it's too
dude.
complicated. Too complicated.
Yeah. So I just left off because when I looked it up, it said it's a 6th Frank Zappa album.
Not the Mother's album, and then all
Not
this.
the Mother's album, not the Mothers of Invention. I said, nah. I'll just leave them off because I got
That's still my
others
favorite
I can
Zappa
listen to.
album, man.
But still,
I
yeah,
don't
that's a good
count.
album.
I don't count Mothers of Invention as a band, despite what Zappa may have said. Because who ruled the roost in that band? Who produced it? Who wrote it? Who arranged
Well,
it?
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank.
To me, it's all Frank anyway. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
all right, man.
I-
Is that? Are you good?
too much explanation, so I just left them off for
Okay.
that. So,
Hey, according to Sammy Hagar, he wrote all Frank Zappa's music.
He replaced Zappa in the Mothers. Anyway. All right, so I've been spinning this one.
Ah, I love it. I know Ralph loves it too. Yeah, that's
You know,
my favorite Ozzy live album.
Yeah,
It's
I
fucking
agree. I agree.
you know, what's
better
funny
than
is-
better than even the Black Sabbath Live Evil. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I listened to this more than Live Evil when it was.
Oh yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
I love. I love.
I didn't get Live
Evil.
Evil until much later on, actually.
There are better versions. You know, when I got the, I talked about this in my Dio Sabafair video, but when I got, those awesome deluxe editions that came out a couple years ago, I was listening to some of the live tracks that were like chosen as B-sides and stuff. And there was definitely a better version of Live Evil they could have released. Like, I don't think
They
they got
did.
the best. I
Edwin.
don't think they got the best takes. But
Edwin,
is there an alternative one?
there's a box set which I think Ralph is going to get.
Oh, is that what
It-
Ralph's getting right now?
Yeah,
Oh.
they've got. Okay, well, there's a Live Evil box set. I almost didn't buy it. So they have the original mix and they have
It's remixed too.
remixed, and the remix is such a revelation how good
Okay.
that album is. By the way, I love Live Evil, and Speak of the Devil, not my favorite. I know Brad Gillis, but nobody touches Tony Iommi. Sorry, but
It's just a different thing. You know what I love about Speak of the Devil? It's just like you're getting like new versions of the song.
it sounds fresher.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But
So it's really fun to listen to
Yeah.
these different interpretations. Like they sound like early '80s versions of the Sabbath songs.
that's my problem with it. And I do like the album now, but when I was growing up, I guess I didn't take sides because that's stupid. I don't know these guys, but I did prefer Live Evil. I do like Speak of the Devil, and I like it now. But believe it or not, as a kid, I was the only one that didn't care for it. And
I think this is better than Live Evil.
Oh, but absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, that's way.
I love that one, man.
Okay, so how do you get that? Is that like a
No, that was a limited. I got one of those too, but that was only limited to I don't how many, Ralph? Like maybe
I
5,000 or something.
I can't remember even when we started the show, Al.
Okay.
But that was a limited edition.
I do know they were limited edition, but I don't know how many.
And it's the same. It's the Mob Rule Store.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
early.
Yeah, but they included part of that on the Mob Rules deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I heard some of those tracks, and I was just like, "Shit, these are better versions than the ones that were on the Live Evil."
And it's early in the tour. They do Country Girl and Slipping Away.
Oh, I love Country Girl.
The
Yeah, I'll get
second
you.
the second reissue of that Mob Rules Deluxe, because they reissued it again, has that full CD. As
It's
the
also
bonus CD.
yeah, and I know Ralph agrees with me also with that Ozzy Live album that came out later.
that's a
that
great
was
one, too.
it's better than Tribute.
Yeah.
Like that's like
Well,
Tribute's
come on,
great.
Randy Rhoads.
It is Randy Rhoads. It's Randy Rhoads, but the Ozzy Live is just another.
Are you
concert.
talking about the Record Store Day one?
No,
Well, they
it was
released
record-
it later, but it was originally a bonus track on I think it was Diary of a Madman.
It was
Oh,
a bonus
oh,
disc.
edition.
It was a
okay.
bonus disc.
It was
All right,
that's how
and
I
when
got it. Yeah.
You get no argument from me. That is
Yeah.
a way better.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's see, but the problem is it doesn't tell me where the hell the shows are from. Either one of them, do they?
No, I think it might be. I think they might have like taken different things from different shows.
Well, I
think.
know it's as much as I love Tribute, and that was my first Ozzy album. Just when I heard that Ozzy Live bonus disc, I was just like blown away. I was
Yeah,
like,
there
this
it
is
is.
even
That's
better. There he is.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
actually have
Thank you,
vinyl.
Ralph.
I just had the digital copy of it. But
That was
I know this one's limited edition.
that's a record store day thing, right?
Yeah, it
No,
was. It was a Record Store Day.
well, not this one.
Okay.
I got this online when it was when they released the box set. I bought the box set, and I heard that live disc. I was like, "Damn!" And then I saw they were selling it on vinyl, limited out. It was like they just started selling it.
so before it was expensive, you pounced on that shit.
Yeah, I got it, man.
Yeah,
This-
that's amazing. That's my favorite with Randy Live. I still like Speak of the Devil better, but that's my second favorite Ozzy Live
I
album.
like Tribute, but some parts of Tribute sound spliced, and it doesn't sound as cohesive as this. This
Because
is a
Ralph, it was spliced. They did like what the Doors did. They would take a performance from one show and then splice it to another.
Well,
So
they
your
spliced,
ears are pretty
they
good.
spliced, They spliced Cleveland, Montreal, and there's 2 songs from when Kerslake and Daisley were even in a band from the UK tour, Southampton, which is like No Bone Movies, and I think something else.
Right.
But
So
I
Ralph,
think it's
you've
also
got-
the mastering is just better also
Yeah.
on that
So,
album. on
But I was
Ozzy
going to
Live.
say, Ralph, you've got good ears because they did do that. Actually, so
Yeah, it doesn't sound as cohesive where that Ozzy Live album sounds like just that one show, and
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like Ozzy's in the studio. Ozzy's sounding strong on this show, and I still will take Speak of the Devil over it. And Speak of the Devil, you can tell that shit's studio.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So it's like Unleashed from the East, where it's like Ozzy's in the studio, but he's giving his all. Like he's really he's doing better than he would do live. That's the thing, and it sounds better.
On YouTube, you can hear
Yeah.
a bootleg of
The
that.
raw version.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I'm always been Ralph about fake live albums. I mean, there's a few exceptions. Like I love like Aerosmith's like live bootleg. That's very raw and sounds live. But for the most part, I like fake live albums because it's like you could go to see the band live and hear them live, or you can watch a clip on YouTube. But I like an album experience. And it's like when a band goes into a studio to do a live album, it's like they're giving you the energy of a live album, but it has the expertise and everything's hitting the mark and it's fucking punchy. And I just fucking love that shit. It's like,
but I can't. The Absolutely Live by the Doors. They tried to talk Jim into doing overdubs. He refused. So that's why there's a few performances spliced together, on there.
I tell you, if Morrison had lived and he had lived on and he became a cool, slick 70s disco Doors
It would have never
guy,
happened.
no,
It would've never happened.
he in another universe, he would have done a fake live album and it would have been the greatest Doors album ever.
Yeah, but do you know that performance of Gloria? And it's usual, we're going off. But you remember that performance of Gloria that
Yeah.
was, well, they claimed it was lost, but what it was is Paul Rothschild had them live in an empty auditorium, the Aquarius Theater. That's where that's from. And they tried to get Jim to do more, and Jim goes, "No, this is not real." And he just left, and nobody bothered trying to get him back because they knew they'd be pointless. He just said, "I'm not doing,"
It's so pretty great. Yeah, that is one of the best versions of that song.
Yeah,
I've
but
heard.
that he did that one time, and then Paul goes, "Let's go through the set," and Jim goes, "Without an audience, I'm not doing it." And he left. So that's where that came from. So a bit of boring trivia for you guys.
There you go.
A very good piece of trivia.
I've also been spinning this one.
Oh, I love that. Well, all black. Well, I love all BOC, but black and white BOC, fucking,
Yeah.
it's amazing. I love
Isn't
it.
that your heaviest album, guys?
Well, you got the red and the black OD on like Hot Rails to Hell. You know, got 7 Screaming Dizbusters.
I feel like they're heaviest live if you count live albums, like on your.
I do, and I
Yeah.
feel like we're never going to start the topic of the show.
Okay. Manny's
That's
getting
my
us
fault.
back.
Sorry about that, Andy.
Sorry, we're geeking out too much. Okay.
And then on
Go,
Saturday.
Andy, get your fucking show in order. Come
Hey,
on.
Yeah.
What is this? The free
I was hosting
podcast? Come
It's
on.
his
let's
show
get this
today.
in order.
I got this at the pop-up store. It's like a splatter
did you?
limited edition vinyl. I just got it just for the hell of it.
All right.
Anyway, so let's get started with the show.
Yeah, but I made, just so you know, I made my list because I had a very busy day today, so I couldn't make the list today. But last night I had free time, so I had fun. What I do is I just go down my digital music library. I start at the bottom, like down with ZZ Top, and I work my way up. And I just go, oh, that's a 6th album I love. I throw it in. That's a 6th album I love. And then I had this list of like 15, 20 albums. And then I just like, figure out what I like best. So that's how I did it. And I got it right here. It's all on my fucking phone. So it's official. There you go.
Don't look at that.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert.
You can't read
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, the way I did it was Al goes, you want to be on the show? I go, I don't know, dude. And then he puts me that I'm going to be on the show. So after I leave the bar and I tell Kathy I'll be back later.
Manny's doing this in real time. He's like, oh, that's a good one.
That's how Ralph knows this, and so does Al. That's how I do every show. I just
All right, well, let's get started, man. So we're going to go 10, 9, 8. We're going to do 3 at a time. So, Ralph, you want to kick it off, bro?
3 at a time? All right.
Yeah.
My first one, horror show from Iced Earth. I think this is when they were extremely on a roll. This album, the album before, and the album after. This is like the middle one. This is a masterpiece. The whole album, every song is about a horror character. My favorite is Damien off this album, about the Omen.
Is that what Matt Barlow on vocals?
This is the last album Matt did with them, and then then Matt came back, but this was the last on the first run.
Okay.
That's my first one.
What's the name of that album again?
Horror Show.
Horror Show. That's right. Okay.
It's an amazing. Now here's another metallic masterpiece from a band that completely changed their sound to hard rock, plus some metal, into complete speed metal. Riot, Thundersteel. This is a masterpiece. It's power metal before power metal. It's very melodic but very fast and crazy guitar work, and a great ballad on here called Blood Streets. And my third one, this album is extremely special to me because I bought it, and when I show you it, you'll know I bought it in 1979. Monolith from Kansas.
Oh.
This and Kansas was on a major roll. Like Left Overture blew them up. Point of No Return was even bigger, and then this was the follow-up, and it didn't really do much. It was kind of like considered a flop. But I think this album is as strong as the 2 before it. Monolith, I would put it up maybe in my 3rd favorite after Left Overture and Mask. I would say this one right here.
Yeah, that's a good album. I like that one too.
Love it. Steve Wall, man, one of my favorite singers ever. How My Soul Cries Out for You. People of the Southwind was the single. And I remember when I was a little kid, they would play it on the radio. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go get that new Kansas, Angels Have Fallen, Reason to Be, A Glimpse of Home, Stay Out of Trouble. This is a great melodic, but sometimes hard rocking masterpiece. Monolith.
It's like they settled into a groove for that album. They really did.
They kind of changed. See, that's the thing. That album didn't sell well, so they wanted to reinvent themselves with audio and video, which is a great album, by but it's different. It doesn't sound like 70s Kansas. And Monolith, I believe, was the reason for that. It's like, well, we're doing what we did before, and before it was successful. Now it's not. Let's do something different, you know?
Oh, was Audio in the 80s? Was that the first 80 album?
Yeah, because this one was 79.
Right, okay. So, you know, every time you go into a new decade, bands just seem to change a little bit.
Yeah, when me and Andy had Tim Derling on, he did the Kansas book.
Yeah.
And when we had him on, I kind of deep dove into Kansas, and that album that you got there, Ralph. Yeah, I'd never heard before because I knew like Leftoverture and the big albums, but that one I didn't really know, and I listened to that one. It is a great album, man.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing, and I have that book, by the way. It's
Yeah,
great.
Monolith is a great album, man. And speaking of Tim Derling, he just released his Night Ranger book.
Yeah.
And
What?
and Andy and I contributed to it, so it's kind of cool to
Yeah, it's awesome.
Somebody wrote a book on Night Ranger?
Yeah.
yeah, it's an album by album thing. So
Hey, you know, Manny, the last time I was in Nashville for Rockin' Pod,
Yeah.
there was a Night Ranger podcast, and they had this booth with this big Night Ranger logo behind them. The Night Ranger podcast.
Wow,
Wow.
that is
Fans
like could
in
be the
Motion.
most niche podcast.
I think it's
ever.
called Fans in Motion.
Do
like-
they do a show every month?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a
How
podcast.
does that work?
Wow,
I never listened to it, but I remember them. I'm like,
I know
that's
I saw
awesome. That's
I know I
awesome.
saw an episode where they actually had Kelly Kagi on there, the drummer
Yeah.
and stuff. So hey,
That's
listen,
Because he needs work. He needs work.
Yeah, and Tim likes to write books about bands that really don't have books by them because he's got a book about Y&T. So he does these books that
he did a book about 8-tracks, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah, I actually watch his show every once in a while, and
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He
he
should
is-
be on
and
here in a couple
gets
weeks.
he gets into the weeds. I've never been on any podcasts with him. We're probably too sarcastic for him, but well, because he seems like a nice guy, you
He's a
know.
very nice guy.
Yeah, you know, I'm talking about banging chicks or something, probably offend them, but a Night Ranger, that I'm just blown away. I like Night Ranger, don't get me wrong, but I just can't imagine. I don't know. I'm,
You know what's fun-
I'm blown away that there's a book, and I'm even more blown away that there's a podcast dedicated to Night Ranger.
Night Ranger.
I would actually read that book just because I'm so intrigued. There's a book on Night Ranger.
yeah, I'll top that one. There's a YouTube channel called The Downfall Network.
yeah, oh yeah.
They have a documentary on me.
I know that. I never saw that episode, but I know that channel.
Yeah,
I don't know about this. I gotta check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ralph, you're an interesting guy. So,
but he
for
did
one
it.
thing, you didn't play Night Rangers, so right there.
Yeah, but he didn't. You know,
Was he slamming you or something?
No, he liked me. But the one part that I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Is, you know, he goes through my music. And he's like, and then he formed the Pizza Thrash band, Thrash It Out. I was like, the fuck is Pizza Thrash?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that subgenre.
Pizza Thrash.
And you know, my thrash band started in 2007, before the thrash resurgence.
Yeah.
You're far from Pizza Thrash.
So what is Piece of Thrash?
I guess it's new. I don't know. I guess it's
What? Wait, hold on. Pizza, like the
As in like
pizza meat?
like I'm Italian American pizza.
A Pizza Thrash. Like that.
Then he formed the Pizza Thrash band, Thrash It Out. I was like,
Right.
rewind.
Have you does the Metal Archives have a section on Pizza Thrash? Maybe we should look into this.
Probably.
Ask the AI. Ask the Google AI.
extra
what is
extra
Pizza
mushrooms.
Thrash?
Extra
Well,
mushrooms.
Ralph,
I
after
never-
listening to your story, it makes me happy I have no fans. Anyway, go ahead, Ralph.
Well, I got to tell you, on Metal Archives, there was a little while there that the most hated band on Metal Archives was Thrash or Die. I mean, all we got was negative reviews, but it was this dude that was giving negative reviews to every South Florida band, right? But he did so many on us and everybody else that people were focusing because we're a silly thrash band, and people. But I never read it because I don't give a fuck.
AI actually. Piece of Thrash is a thing. You want to hear this? Okay. Sorry, we got to digress, but this is too good. Piece of Thrash is a subgenre of thrash metal of often used humorously that continues thrash metal's energy with elements of humor, party themes, and sometimes a focus on food, especially pizza. Their lyrics.
Dude,
I got there is
awesome.
humor. There is humor in
Dude,
thrash
that is
and dive,
awesome.
but I don't think you guys have sung about pizza.
There is humor, but we don't sing about food.
No.
And MOD was humorous.
Yeah.
Anthrax. There was a lot of humorous.
Well, they were a proto piece of thrash, maybe.
They were. Not all our songs were jokey, but yeah, I threw in a couple.
So maybe that's why, because they thought because of the humor and there was like kind of a party vibe.
That's a good time band.
But yeah. I heard maybe like 2 years ago, somebody told me that there's many comments now in Metal Archives about Thrash or Die, arguing with that dude. What are you talking about? They rule. I was like, cool.
You should totally embrace it. Like maybe like go on a piece of thrash like the big four.
The thing is that I really, if I like you guys, for instance, you guys or the people I hang out with personally, yeah, I kind of care what they think. But some anonymous jagoff online, I'm not even interested to fucking read it. It's like, why? I don't care. Look, all I care about is I loved it. That's why I released it, because I love it. If you don't, guess what? Every band has haters. I don't give a fuck if it's the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, or Thrash or Die. We all have haters.
Well, look at Metallica. Who has more haters than Metallica? And they're the biggest metal band in the world playing stadiums.
Yeah, they're playing stadiums,
Yeah.
Hey, so let's continue.
All right, and what's your 3?
All right, let me get away from the Google AI about Piece of Thrash to tell you my top 3. Okay, well, I'm going in right away with a fucking banger. Judas Priest, British Steel is apparently their 6th album. You don't even think about it because they did so much by that point. And I looked at it, it goes, yeah, that's their fucking 6th album. How could fucking British Steel not make my top 10? I love it. It is my favorite 80s Judas Priest album. I do love like the 70s albums, the 4, is it the 4? Yeah, 4 albums before it more. But this is like my 5th favorite Judas Priest album.
I agree. I don't think they've done anything as good as British Steel since British Steel, and I love Point of Entry. I love
Point of Entry too. Defenders is probably the one that comes closest after British Steel. Actually, I like Defenders more than Screaming, but they're all. Screaming, Defenders, and Point of Entry are all close. I love them. But British is the one that still has that fucking edge. There's just an edge to it that they never. It's more commercial and streamlined than the 70s shit, which is why I would give the 70s shit an edge. But unless Spinks, gives the 70s stuff an edge, in my opinion, especially those 2 albums he did plus the live one. But British Steel, is definitely the one it's just got the most grit to it. To the 80s albums.
And the singer sucks cock. How cool is that?
Yeah, he's like Grinder. He invented a whole way for gay guys to hook up on the internet. He invented that shit.
Hey, anybody out there looking for meat? Grinder.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you're a gay guy somewhere in some truck stop somewhere in the country and you're getting laid because of Grinder, thank the fucking metal god for that shit. Because he saw into the future in 1980 and helped you get your fucking nut off.
and thinking that if you meet somebody, this might be kind of breaking the law.
Rob Halford saw into the future. He's hooking
Talk
up all
about
his fucking
rapid
gay
fire.
bros.
Jesus.
Hey, all I know is Rob Halford, for me, was a big voice in the soundtrack of my life. And he's brought me so much joy that I want the same for him. I want Rob Halford to get a smorgasbord of cocks.
Yeah. You want a jawbreaker. You want that.
To break his jaw on 3 big veiny cocks. Rob Halford rules.
Rob Halford
Hey,
rules.
man,
All
I wish I was gay. I'd love to fuck Rob.
All right, what's your next one, Ed?
Keep it with great, awesome.
Hold
British-
on. Before you say that, Ralph was the chick on the Heavy Metal parking lot where she says, "Rob Halford, I'd chop his bones."
Or except for Ralph would have a better chance.
Back then, I had a southern accent.
Motorhead, Another Perfect Day.
Yeah,
Oh, my favorite
Amazing
Motorhead
album.
by the way.
Amazing.
I forgot that one.
Amazing.
Great one, man.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's definitely a top 5.
You're wrong. Iron Fist is the 6th album.
Not according to the internet. I mean, unless you're counting, or you're not counting On Parole.
No, right. Motorhead,
Let's-
Ace of Spades. I mean, Motorhead, Overkill, Ace of Spades, Bomber, Another Perfect Day. Another Perfect Day. Then Iron Fist.
Well, shit, Iron
No,
Fist.
No, Iron Fist is
before
first.
it.
It's
Yeah.
Iron Fist is the last one for Eddie Clark. That
Yeah,
is before
exactly.
Another Perfect Day.
You're right. I'm wrong. Why the fuck are you listening to me?
I can't believe I was right about a Motorhead album with Ralph Vieira.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, close though. And goddamn it, if it was Iron Fist, it would have just been Iron Fist here instead anyway, because they're both fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, Thin Lizzy, Robbo comes in, totally changed. I mean, it to me, it's like you still got, Filthy Animal and Lemmy doing their Motorhead shit, but you got fucking Robbo doing this almost like Van Halen-esque melodic guitar work over it. And I think it's their best production. If we're just talking purely the sound of the album, I don't think Motorhead ever had an album that sounded this good. And it's kind of a perfect hybrid between being a little more commercial while still bringing that kind of early Iron Fist, Ace of Spades edge to it. It's amazing. Lemmy's fucking songwriting, like One Track Mind and fucking Shine and Dancing on Your Grave. There's so many fucking great songs. I love it. I mean, I felt bad making it number 9. There was just like 8 albums I loved more. But
this is a deluxe box of it, which brings the album. It brings this really killer book and a live show.
yeah, that's a great live show too. I have that disc. It's great, and they amazing. It's too bad no one liked Robbo in Motorhead because he like had short hair and dressed like he was in an Olivia Newton-John video. And
there was I lived at that time. There was a huge backlash.
Were you at that tour?
No, the tour didn't come down here. I'm saying there was a backlash.
So you heard other metalheads were like, "Fuck that shit." They didn't like it.
The first song I heard off this album, and I was kind of like, "Hey," was "I Got Mine." I love "I Got Mine," but the first time I heard it, they put it on. There was a local radio show, Brand New Music. So they played "I Got Mine." I was like, "Oh, that don't sound like Motorhead to me," because
it is poppy. It is poppy for them.
Yeah, and then I heard One Track Mind, the video on Night Flight. I was like, I gotta get this album. That fucking song.
Amazing. That might be. I think that's my favorite song on the album. I think it might be some of Lemmy's best lyrics too. Very clever.
He's a good writer.
Mine is Back at the Funny Farm.
That's a great song too. It's all fucking great. I
Mine
love
is
that
Rocket
album.
off that album because I love the song.
Rocket's great too. I love Rocket.
I like the lyrics where he says, in Back at the Funny Farm, I really like this jacket, but the sleeves are much too long. That's all.
Very Alice Cooper kind of. Yeah, it's great. And the final one, I know Ralph likes this one a lot, and by like I mean love. I think it's your favorite Beatles album. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rubber Soul. It's funny to think of Rubber Soul as a sixth album, but yes, it's a sixth album. It is the Beatles. God, how much did they advance in just 5 albums before that? But yeah, Rubber Soul. And I'm going by the UK discography. I didn't even bother to look at the US one.
Rubber Soul. I own the American copy. Rubber Soul starts with "I Just Seen a Face." Now, don't get me wrong. "I Just Seen a Face" would probably be in my top 5 greatest Beatles songs ever, but it's a horrible opener for an album.
It is.
Yeah, this is the American one.
It's not catchy.
"Drive My Car."
The
start
funny
out.
thing though is, I actually heard the American one first. I had a cassette of that. So I did actually get used to that. I understand if you started with the UK one, it's probably really weird to hear it that way.
Yeah.
But I heard it that way. And the only thing is you kind of think of it more as a folky album. Like, oh, this is their folky album. And so like I do have a little bit of nostalgia for hearing it because I had a cassette of that version. But I understand, like, obviously the UK version's the definitive version. That's what makes sense. Drive My Car, it's an opening track. It's an eclectic. The UK version's an eclectic album, like Revolver, like the White Album. There's a lot of different stuff on it. But the US one, I think they were jumping because of the popularity of Dylan, I'm guessing. And they decided to make it more of a folky thing. That's what I'm guessing. And that's why they went in that direction. Like, hey, it's the Beatles folk album.
And I don't think Nowhere Man was on the U.S. version.
It's not even on the U.S. one. Like that's how they were very against anything electric. They kind of focused just on the acoustic songs. But so they got like a it has a charm to it, but definitely, obviously, the UK version's better. That's the definitive version. It's amazing. It's objectively, there is a case that it is the best Beatles album. Ralph's not wrong. This is your favorite, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, objectively, you hear it. I mean, I feel like you could kind of objectively say like maybe 5 or 6 of the Beatles albums are their best albums. But
Let me give a little spoiler without giving anything away. Rubber Soul is on my list. But
I could imagine it wouldn't be.
But guess what? It's not number 1 though.
It's not my one either. I mean, and I do love I do love the White Album and Revolver even more. So that's the only reason why albums I love might rank a little bit lower in this top 10. Still pretty fucking high when you think about it. But the ones I decided to put up front, it's because they are like even higher on my list for that band personally. Like if this is like my favorite album from the band, that's gonna knock off an album that's my 3rd favorite album. That's the thing. Rubber Soul is amazing, but it's just personally my 3rd favorite Beatles album. So because of that, it makes number 8, but it's a very strong fucking number 8. It's fucking Rubber Soul. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, Manny. 10,
All
9,
right.
and
Well, all right. I only did 6 because, I did it at the last minute, but I'll just do the three. No order, by the way.
8. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. You did what?
Can't you just make up like 3 real fast?
No.
You only have
4.
Wait, so you only have 6 on your list, you're saying?
Yeah, 6 albums, 6 top. That's it, man.
But then we should skip you now and then come back to you.
Do you want
That'll even it up.
Do you want me to just do one?
Just
Or do you
make one up right now. Just say something.
All right, The Doors, L.A. Woman, the last album with Jim Morrison, because they did 2 more after he died.
That
The
doesn't
Doors,
count.
it does count. Yeah, well, you're right. They don't count. Fuck
Come
that.
on.
But anyway, it's Jim Morrison's final album. It's almost reads like an epitaph in a way. I like the fact that it's contains some of his best poetry, even though it's what's the word I'm looking for? Lyrically, he kind of made it more palatable. Well, probably because it was blues based, But even the song "L.A. Woman," which is driven by that rhythm section, just a great song. And I even like the fact that he mentions Pam in "L.A. Woman," comparing her to L.A. I see your hair is burning. The streets are filled with, just a great, great album. And Jim called it his blues album. And it's too bad he passed away because the last phone call he made to John Densmore, ironically, the member he was the least closest with, he said, if people really like this, wait till they see what I have in mind for the next one. Of course, we never got that.
Right.
But it's a great, great album. One of my favorite albums, and a great last musical will and testament from James Douglas Morrison.
It really is. It's a great album.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys can come back to me, or do you want me to do one more?
I think, well, unless you catch up to the number, we should probably skip you, Manny.
All right, go for it.
Andy.
All right, Andy.
So
Andy, you're next.
Leave it to Manny to fucking break the damn
that's
rules.
all right.
I'm trying to help you
Listen,
guys.
dude.
Even though I'm the drunkest guy here, I'm trying to help you have a
Well,
a
we
little
know. We
fucking
heard your
order.
mom yelling at you already.
My mom's not wrong. She's right. I'm drinking too much.
All right. So my number 10, I'm going to go with Scorpions Love Drive.
Yeah.
Ooh, good one. Good
Oh,
one.
what a
Wait,
great.
what fucking album cover is that?
It's the one my mom allowed me to get.
Fucking
So I had to
moms.
get the.
There's
the
a
Spencer
vastly superior album cover, to that.
Oh yes, I know that.
That is my favorite Scorpions album.
I got the CD version of it.
I forgot about it.
Ralph, show them the real album cover, please.
I know what the cover looks like.
No, we're gonna get banned. No.
That's not. You can't get banned for that
No,
one.
I
It's
know.
not Virgin Killer.
I'm being fucking sarcastic.
Yeah, but
It's my second favorite Scorpions album.
It's
It's
not-
awesome.
but it's got the extended nipple.
Look at
Yeah,
look at that
that's the
beauty,
real
huh?
stuff.
That's
It really is.
I'll tell you, this copy is a German pressing I got from my brother in Germany in 1979. He gave me this,
Wow.
and Supertramp, Crime and Century, one of my favorite albums. If that's one of the six, that's their sixth album, I should have put that on there. But yeah, this is my favorite Scorpions album, and I forgot to put it on the list.
Yeah, I thought about it. It didn't make my list, but I thought about it. I did. I was like, oh, it came close. So that's an
Well,
honorable
I
mention.
didn't-
Honorable mention.
I didn't think about it at all, but that's a great album.
Yeah.
It's a really great album.
So even though it's not the best album cover, there's no way I'd get Virgin Killers that other version.
Yeah.
I'll take this version any day.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big. I love taking the original band album cover. That's one of the exceptions. That and Blind Faith were like the two times I was like,
Ralph,
those are the
I-
only two I didn't do. Like I was like, I
Ralph,
don't
I-
need that shit.
Ralph, I found the band cover at a consignment store. They gave it to me for like $5, and I bought it. But I prefer I hate the cover, but I bought it because it's the original cover.
Well, you're on a list now. The FBI's watching you.
No,
Do like Tony Dio and just put like a one of those post-it notes over the girl.
I know if I would buy that Virgin Killer, the original, that dude from Catch a Predator will show up at my door.
Hey Ralph, take a seat over here.
My number 9 is going to be Steely Dan. I'm a big Steely Dan fan.
Great album.
That
Really
album,
good album.
That album rules.
that's
It's such a smooth
no,
album.
it's you know what makes that album amazing, other than of course the song,
Yeah,
the sound.
yeah.
Oh, it's
That's the top production sound. And I just recently got into Steely Dan, believe it or not. I've never really been a Steely Dan guy,
Uh-huh.
but in the last 2 years, I've become a fanatic of yacht rock. And I know Steely Dan fans get pissed off. Oh, they're not yacht rock. Not only are they yacht rock, they are the kings of yacht rock. They are the greatest yacht rock band ever. And Asia is a goddamn masterpiece.
Yeah, I just don't like that term either. I really don't.
The term doesn't bother me, but when it comes to Steely Dan, it does, because I think they were a very sophisticated jazz type
Jazz
band.
pop.
Yeah, and I know that's snobbish to say, but
It's
if you
true.
try playing that stuff, by the
Yeah.
way, Andy, who produced that? Was that the two guys, Don Fagen and
I think it was Brett Michaels.
Brett Michaels couldn't produce a fart. Anyway, so,
Walter
Um,
Becker probably, and
It's
Is it
probably Fagan. It is probably fake and Becker recorded. It doesn't. Produced by Gary Katz.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Gary Katz.
You know,
That-
there's
that
a
album-
that's
Go
a
ahead.
great album, and Andy, it
Yeah, it's
should be
true.
on YouTube. But do you remember the classic album rock series they used to put out on
Yeah.
DVD? I have it, but
Yeah.
do you remember that? Well, there's
Oh,
one
yeah.
on the making of that album, and they're the most laid back, and they have such a sardonic humor that you don't know if they're really screwing around with the interviewer or being serious. I mean, it's but wow, good stuff, man.
I
Stereo.
really like the way that they would play with the soundboards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
just a pinpoint a certain instrument. I love that. That's so cool.
A lot of stereo places or hi-fi places would use that album as like reference for hi-fi stereos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's an album where they would really use that, put that on for you to like listen. Look how great the stereo sounds and everything. That's like reference quality production there, like that. Yeah.
You know something, Al? That was in the documentary of Yacht Rock.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
see that yet, actually. Either.
Great. There's a guy in the documentary going, people back then in stereo stores, they always played Asia to let you know how good the stereo was.
Yeah.
And my number 8, we've been talking about him quite a bit already, but Ozzy Osbourne's "No More Tears."
Is that his sixth album?
That's a
Yeah,
sick
the
album.
sixth
Yeah.
album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 with Randy, 2 with Jake, and then the second one with
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So,
and to me
that was
that's
a really good album.
to me that's his last really top to bottom.
That's his
solid.
last. That's his last album I like. So
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
easily. Yeah. I've got all the others, but they don't come close to anything else previously.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a really good one. I thought he really gave us all to this one. Then
Agree. Good album.
All right, Al.
Andy.
Yeah.
Al. No, wait, Andy did it. Al, it's your turn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should not try to control this podcast.
Nah, it's all right,
I'm out
man.
of control.
Have another glass of wine there, buddy.
I will. That'll level things out of it.
Do a little cocaine there. Anyway, my number 10, it's a band that I love. I talk a lot about them on his channel. And this is their 6th album, Ear Candy by King's X.
Oh,
It's the last album on Atlantic Records, actually. But this was after Dogman. Dogman, they got really heavy, but then they got back a little more melodic, a little more Beatle-esque, like vocal harmonies and stuff like that. And I love this album, man, a lot. So it's like a very if there's such thing as an underrated King's X album, because all of their albums are pretty much underrated. But yeah, this one signed by the whole band too. I met them numerous times, so that's my number 10. My number 9, I'm going with from this beautiful box set. Actually, I don't know if people have this box set or not, but the Pink Floyd Shine On.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody ever remembers this one.
I remember when that came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Metal by Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
Amazing album.
The 6th one, just for echoes alone here.
Hello.
It's
I recently got the new version of Pompeii.
Mhm.
Dude, that song.
I missed that in the theater, and I wanted to see it bad.
I saw that at a showing, like a midnight showing in LA. Man, one of the best experiences in a movie theater ever. Amazing.
But this remastered version, I heard, is really like awesome, right, Ralph?
Yeah.
Ralph,
yeah.
can you tell the difference? I mean, I bought the CD, but I'm talking about the movie. Is it really that?
Yeah. They really did brighten it up. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So, Metal, which I love this album so much, man. I spun this a lot, like when it was not new, but when I got the box. See, when I got this box set, because I think this was released in like '94, I only had maybe like 1 or 2 Pink Floyd CDs. I had like probably Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and I'm like, you know what? I can get like a shitload of just that one shot, get everything pretty much. It's not every album, but it's like a lot of the important ones. So,
Well, it's the classic era when Roger
Yeah.
Waters took over creatively.
yeah. So yeah, Metal. That's my number 9, and then my number 8, I'm going with Love Gun by Kiss.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, OMG. It's Kiss. But
My
yeah,
favorite Kiss album cover, easily.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I love Rock and Roll Over as well, but that's my favorite album.
Rock and Roll Over is my favorite from the second wave, the second 3.
Well, that's my favorite Kiss album. I mean, album cover. I'm just saying, Love Gun has my favorite album cover, definitely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
But I
know
love this-
there's about 5 or 6 Kiss albums I like better than Love Gun, but Love Gun is a great album. It
Yeah.
didn't make my list, but it is a great album.
produced by Eddie Kramer. I like the sound
Yeah.
of it. And
Kiss released nothing but great albums in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great in the 70s.
Oh.
And Eddie Kramer is their best producer. Isn't that just science? Doesn't everyone know that?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. So that's my 10, 9, and 8. So go ahead, Ralph. 7, 6, and 5.
All right. This one contains my favorite song from the band, La Vida Strangiato.
Oh,
I have a feeling Al's going to talk about this later.
Yeah, that's my Al's number 1.
Yeah.
This freaking album, and I got the box set. And, the Hemispheres Part 1, Circumstances is such a killer deep track. The trees. That is whatever number that is.
number 7.
Next, I would say, for the longest time, one of this band's albums was my favorite album. Now, it's like my second favorite, because my favorite is now Toys in the Attic. Then Rocks, what used to be my favorite, and then this right here. The most underrated gem Aerosmith has ever done. Cheesecake, man. Coney Island Whitefish Boy. No surprise, Chiquita walking in the stand, Mia, 3 Miles High, Leatherhead and Woman.
And their cover of the Yardbirds, think about it. Killer.
Think about it, yeah. This is a masterpiece, and this is the copy I bought in 1979.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
That's
cool.
79.
Yeah,
And didn't you seen him on that leg? Like you saw them Jimmy Crispo, I thought.
yeah, but it was rocking the hard place.
It was rocking a hard place.
Right, it was the album after.
But they did 3 Mile Smile though. You said weren't they still doing some shit from night?
Yeah, they did 3 Mile Smile, and they did No Surprise.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Jimmy Crispo is so fucking underrated. Such an amazing guitarist.
And Rick
It's a shame he didn't go on to do more stuff, man.
I know. I might be talking about that album later. Yeah.
I'm
He
sure
did
you
an
are.
album with Adam Bomb, one album.
This
That was
next
it.
one,
Yeah.
next one, I'm not going by any other version than the American version. And it is their 6th album if you count the American version. And that is the masterpiece, Final Tap. Now, can you tell what this is?
The Black Album. Smell the glove.
God damn, man. This album's so old you can already
Is it Back in Black?
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Remember I told you, Al, I said it when I was thinking about which version, the Australian, European, American. I said, I don't know. All I know is that Mutt Lange produced whatever AC/DC 6th album is, so it's
Yeah.
got to be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, my answer will be different than Ralph's, but
Yeah, mine too.
but
Yeah, mine's slightly
I have
different,
a
but-
spoiler on that one already. But go ahead,
Well,
Ralph.
I think it's a perfect album.
It is.
It may not be my favorite AC/DC album, but I think it's the most perfect album.
I think that I think Brian Johnson was the perfect replacement for Bon Scott. There was nobody that could have done a better job. And
Brett
number
Michaels.
2, the lyrics on there, Bon Scott, I don't know if he wrote them, but he haunts quite a
No.
few.
I suggest, man, and you get educated and go to Edwin Canistracci's page and watch the 2 episodes he did.
I actually 4.
4 episodes. Listen to the 4 episodes he did about how Bon Scott did not write it, and I
He did.
totally agree with him.
Yeah, he didn't write lyrics. He did inspire some shit. Like he
No,
came
no,
up with
I
like
do
the
think
line
that-
"Rock and roll ain't no noise pollution" came from Bond.
But-
But you're just saying the spirit of
Yeah,
Bond.
but I'm
Well,
saying
yeah.
that we on Rat Salad we interviewed Jesse Fink twice. He
Oh.
wrote the Bon Scott biography.
Oh, well, yeah.
You definitely gotta watch those 4
And-
videos then.
And I said I do believe Bond may have written some, but I don't believe he wrote "Giving the Dog a Bone." that's too crude for Bond. Bond was a lot more clever than that.
Well, Manny, also, Hell's Bells. Look, if you think about Bon Scott, when Bon Scott talked about hell, like hell ain't a bad place to be, highway to hell, it's all about partying. Then when they get Brian Johnson, Hell's Bells is like, if God's on the left and I'm sticking to the right, it's totally satanic shit.
Yep.
If Bond was more like, hey, let's party in hell. We're over here with Brian. It's like, let's kill little baby.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
totally
that's-
changes. What do you know? New singer, and suddenly hell changes. Yeah.
Well, my
Makes sense.
argument with Jesse Fink was that I do believe that some of those melodies may have been Bond's, and some of the lyrics are probably Bond. You shook me all night long. It's definitely Bond Scottish. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution.
It is.
But given the dog a bone, Hell's Bells a good example. I don't believe he wrote that at all.
Listen, also some of the stuff that people call Bond, and don't get me wrong, I love Bond. You know, and Powerage is my favorite AC/DC album. But that being said, a lot of these melodies sometimes they're from the actual Young Brothers. They wrote catchy stuff. They wrote even before Bond joined the band. They did "Can I Sit Next to You, Girl," "Soul Stripper," "Rock and Roll Singer." There's like already a whole wave of catchy AC/DC songs. So yeah,
I agree,
mean,
but without Bon Scott, they would have never gotten out of
no,
Australia.
he helped them. He took them to the next level. He helped them take to the
Yeah.
next level.
You know what I noticed today while playing that High Voltage album? The song Soul Stripper. I never really noticed it, but it's Angus and Malcolm doing lead guitar.
Yeah, Malcolm does. Yeah, some actual solos in that.
Yeah, he's doing and good solo.
Yeah. Oh, Malcolm's amazing. Malcolm could do what Angus did. It's just like at a certain point they just decided their roles. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let you be the showman and be lead, and that's what's so awesome to me. I love Bond. I love Brian. Me, the greatest member of AC/DC is Malcolm Young. He's the real
Speaking of
genius.
which-
He's the genius of
Speaking
the
of
band. Yeah.
Soul Stripper, I believe Bond did not write the lyrics to that.
No, he didn't. He didn't write the lyrics. They already had it written before he joined.
I
And
was-
Malcolm's he's the guy that had the vision of AC/DC. Bond himself said Malcolm was the brains. He said that.
in Let There Be a Rock movie. That's
Yes,
true.
yes.
But my argument is about Back in Black, which I love. I actually like every AC/DC album, even the lesser ones. But my argument would be that after Back in Black, they never wrote anything as good as that. And of course, that's asking for the impossible, really. But
I mean, yeah, if you write the greatest rock and roll album of all time.
Yeah.
But well, I'll talk more about that when I talk about AC/DC again. So Ralph, you did Back in Black because you're going by the US version. So you got it. Was there anything else?
There's one more, I think.
You
Yeah,
got
there's
one
one more, Ralph.
Okay,
No,
come on,
You guys
Ralph.
three. You guys three.
No, Rush.
Rush, Aerosmith, AC/DC.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
that's
Okay,
three.
okay. All great choices. Okay,
And I'm the one on drugs here.
We're getting derailed over here. Go ahead,
hey,
Eddie.
sorry. Ralph's on drugs. I'm on wine. Manny's on Manny. Okay, let's go. Manny talked about this album, so I won't say too much. It's The Doors, LA Woman. It's great. Actually, it really should be number one because when you think about the ultimate sixth album, it should be the album where the singer fucking died afterwards. It's like, it's the end.
Went out with a bang. Yeah.
It's the ultimate six pack. As much as I love six packs, Van Halen, Sabbath, Aerosmith, a lot of great six packs out there. In theory, the ultimate six pack is The Doors because they're fucking out after six. Because
That's all they had.
Yeah, that's it. Jim's dead. I'm sorry. I don't consider the Doors after Jim. That's Scab Doors.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But and it's one of their best albums. LA Woman's amazing. Amazing album. Everything Manny said, pretend I said it. Okay, so there. Moving
That's
on.
my second favorite by the Doors after their debut.
It's up there. I might give Morrison Hotel an edge, but it's still really, really great. Okay, next is my favorite studio album from this artist. That's why I ranked it so high. Neil Young, Tonight's the Night. Fucking love this album.
That's a great album.
Amazing album. It actually really should have been his fifth album, but they held it back. And then the label didn't like it. It was too dark and druggy-ish, so they held back. And then they released On the Beach, which was pretty much druggy-ish as well.
Bad.
And then they went, okay, fuck it, whatever. Release whatever you want. Because obviously you're not going to give us Harvest again, so whatever.
They
So,
left him alone after that.
yeah. So then he released Tonight's the Night. So Tonight's the Night became his 6th album. And it's amazing. I mean, I love Harvest. It's great. Tonight's the Night kind of brings both sides. I know Ralph only likes the acoustic side of Neil Young. Tonight's the Night brings kind of both sides. It's kind of like the electric side and the country side kind of mixing a bit. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of like his White Album, I feel, because it's kind of like a tour de force Neil Young album. If I was to give a person one Neil Young album to represent him, it'd be Tonight's the Night. If I was to give them one to make you like him, it'd be Harvest. You know what I mean? But in terms of representing him, it's Tonight's the Night. And I love it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah,
Also,
Harvest.
right there.
amazing album. I do love that album as well. But my favorite song of Neil Young is on Tonight's the Night. It's World on a String. One of my favorite songs of all time. Love that song. My 5th choice is an artist that I know Ralph loves, Prince, Purple Rain. Purple Rain is his 6th album. So there you go. Prince's biggest album. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite Prince album, but objectively it is his greatest album. Like it's kind of like Back in Black. It's not my favorite, but objectively I can hear it's their best album, but it's just not my personal favorite. Purple Rain's not my personal favorite Prince album. It's like my 3rd, but it's one of the greatest albums ever. I think it's amazing, and it's easily had to break my top 5. So there you go.
Well, that's an excellent album, and again, hate to mention Sly and the Family Stone. You hear the influence all over that on that album.
Definitely, but Prince, like he took from Sly Stone, he took from Jimi Hendrix, he took from a lot Stevie Wonder, he took from a lot of people, even a little bit of the Beatles at that period because of Wendy and Lisa
and David Bowie. He's a huge
David Bowie, a bit of David Bowie, and Elvis a little bit with at least with the image, riding around the motorcycle, making movies. I feel like Purple Rain, the movie, is a little like an Elvis movie.
By the way,
Stanley. And Paul Stanley, too.
I don't know.
By the way, speaking of Prince, there's an interview with Apple. What was her name?
Apollonia.
Thank you. Where she talked about Prince's love of David Lee Roth. It's out there on YouTube.
Well, because she was actually banging David Lee Roth. This is the thing. I love Prince, but I will say one thing. Whereas Prince is pretending to have sex with Apollonia, David Lee Roth actually was having sex with her. So,
well, that's true. But she mentions how for a short while there, Prince was really, really not into Van Halen as a whole, just David Lee Roth. It's interesting.
I can see. Well, David Lee Roth's an amazing performer, and he had that soul influence. So I could definitely see Prince respecting that. Plus, Apollonia was like one of the finest women ever.
So wasn't Nikki Sixx banging her too?
Vanity.
That
was Vanity. In other words, that's the thing. Prince pretended to have sex with women, and then these rock guys fucked him.
I'm sorry, I got his girlfriend's in lingerie wrong. I'm so sorry.
I tell you, Prince had a lot of really hot pretend girlfriends, though. He had the hottest,
and I'm sure that
the hottest pretend
them out.
Yeah. Yeah, and God bless David Lee Roth for getting in there, fucking Apollonia. I fucking salute you. But I love the album. Purple Rain's great. It makes me think of Apollonia, so that's great too. So
and David Lee Roth.
It's awesome. So that's it, and I think that's it for now, right?
Yeah. All right, Manny, do your one.
Do you want me to just do one? Because I got that's 7. All right, I'll do one. All right.
Or 2, whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, this is going to be an obvious choice if I don't do it. Deep Purple, Machine Head. I think Deep Purple in the history of heavy metal and hard rock. Again, I go with the unholy trinity, as they call it. Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Led Zeppelin. It's a cliche, but there's a reason it's a cliche. Richie Blackmore is one of my favorite guitar players. Ian Gillan. Actually, the whole band is incredible. And Machine Head, it's overplayed, but the intro to Highway Star, Holy Christ Almighty, that's incredible. Smoke on the Water, I'm sick of, but that is the first guitar riff like everyone my age learned. Lazy, even if you don't like the blues, which I do love the blues, that is the blues, but it's the blues Richie Blackmore way. Definitely not the way of Mississippi Muddy Waters, for sure.
No. And
Um,
and they kind of add that kind of English scuffle into that.
definitely,
That
yeah.
was a big part of their lives in the late 50s. Yeah.
And even the deep cuts, which is only is Pictures of Home, Never Before. Maybe I'm a Leo. It's got that shuffle from Ian Pace. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that track. That's my favorite song on the album. I love that. Track.
it's,
From Home is the shit.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's great too. It's a great album. It's all great.
And to prove that Deep Purple really like getting high, Space Trucking, a song literally about space trucking. Anyway, the album's fantastic. It says produced by Deep Purple, but it was really, I'm sure, Martin Birch. But
Or Roger Glover.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Blackmore back then would have trusted Glover at the.
I feel it's Birch more, but
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but excellent album, and they recorded in a crappy hotel room with the Rolling Stones truck thing outside. Anyway, do you want me to wait to the next go around for my next one, or just go ahead?
Well, how many more do you have left, Danny?
Let's see. After that one, I've got 4.
Okay, then wait. Okay, Andy, you're next.
My next 3. Y'all don't know how much I love this band. ZZ Top, De Gallo.
Almost made my list.
The
Didn't make
Gladio,
it, but I love that album.
This is a good album. I want to thank you. I'm bad. I'm nationwide. A Fool for Your Stockings, and some really good. Even Cheap Sunglasses. Cheap Sunglasses is on here. The Low Down in the Street. It's a really good album. Right before Eliminator, I believe. I'm going to
El Loco's after that one.
It's right before El Loco.
Okay.
But it is kind of like it's a transition album. It kind of bridges the 70s sound into the 80s.
Yep.
Yeah.
This should have been higher for me, but it's not. And Ed just talked about this, and we need to get Ed back to do some more Neil Young episodes. But tonight's the night.
Yeah. Amazing.
Neil Young is my second favorite artist, right behind the Beatles. I'm a big Neil Young fan. He's number 2. I've got over 50 albums, live, bootleg, or whatever. I'm just a big fan of his. And then, where am I? And my next one is going to be Sabotage by Sabbath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, it's not higher because you can imagine what's in front of it. It's just amazing stuff. But Sabotage.
It's getting. I think the lists are getting interesting now. I think
Yeah, obviously, a few of us might talk about that.
I think we're going to intertwine.
We might. That might be on my list, Andy.
Yeah, it might make it.
It's got to be in everybody's list, to be honest. I mean, it's got to. All right, Al.
Great run there. All great albums.
My number 7, and I can't find my physical copy of the vinyl, but Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak, 6th album, arguably probably their most successful album out of all their albums. But I love, from top to bottom, every song is fucking great on this album. I mean, from Jailbreak to Romeo and the Lonely Girl. I mean, Emerald, Cowboy Song is probably, and we've done a top 10 list of songs, and Cowboy Song is actually my favorite Thin Lizzy song of all time. I love that song. There's just something about that song that it speaks to me emotionally, and I don't know, the way the guitars harmonize on there, and his lyrics and his Phil's storytelling is just completely. I mean, he's in my top 3 lyricists of all time. I mean, if we're going to talk lyricists, he's in my top 3. So,
well, I think, Al, it's interesting that we have so far mentioned 4 poets that happen to be lyricists.
Yeah.
Of course, there's Jim Morrison. There's Neil Young.
Yeah.
There's Phil, and of course, one that nobody ever mentions, but I will argue that he is a great lyricist. Neil, I always say Peart, but it's Peart.
Yeah.
But yeah, But I don't care what anyone says. That man was a great lyricist, and if his band wasn't called Rush, if there were an alternative rock band, they'd be talking about him as a lyricist and printing books about him. That's how strong I feel about him. Anyway,
And also, Lemmy was a great writer too.
actually,
Lemmy was
good
a really
point,
good
Al.
writer.
I mean,
Geezer Butler too.
Yeah.
yeah, all of those guys. But when I think of just
the
stuff that you could put in a book and just read,
Yeah.
Who's that,
men.
Ralph? Who, Ralph?
I'd say Bon Scott was the best.
What a great lyricist too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steven Tyler's underrated too in the 70s.
yeah,
And
no,
Yeah.
David Lee Roth, man.
Yeah.
David
David Lee
Roth.
Roth is a way better lyricist than he's given credit for
The
sure.
year like DOA, that line, they found a dirty faced kid in a garbage can.
That's poetry.
It's
Street
very
poetry. Yeah.
His wordplay was fantastic. It
Yeah.
really was.
You know, Full Bug, you know, that the lyrics of that, you know, about magazines, you know. Oh, anyway, Ralph, you're right. And of course, Bond was the man. So, Ralph, you're right.
My number 6, you just mentioned the Deep Purple Machine Head. Yeah, top to bottom. I mean, this is a great. I love this album. It's the first Deep Purple album I ever got, and then it's not my favorite though, but it's probably my second favorite. Signed by Ian Pace and Roger Glover there.
Ian Pace, that dude.
Oh, that guy.
Amazing guy. Amazing
Fucking drummer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
That's my number 6, and then my number 5. Speaking of David Lee Roth, Van Halen, 1984.
I knew you were going to come up with that at some
This,
point.
I mean, I was 12 years old in 1984. This was the soundtrack of my summer. I used to be into like BMX bikes and BMX riding, and me and my buddy John, we always had this cassette in the boombox and just lived. It was my summer soundtrack. Was this album, you know? And I still get pissed every time I think of asking my older brother to get tickets for this tour, and he didn't get them. God damn you, Paul!
I know you talk about this all the time. It's like your greatest regret.
God damn it! But anyway, that's my 765. So Ralph,
When-
4, 3, and 2.
Well, before you go, Ralph, whenever I'm in a bar, that jump song, I think of that line, I'm not the worst you've ever seen. Thank you, David Lee Roth. Anyway, Ralph, go ahead.
All right, this next one should be number 1, obviously. We all can agree on this.
Should be.
I'm
Also, you
surprised-
you actually have the Blu-ray. What do you do with the Blu-ray?
You didn't see that. You are the acid you took just kicked in.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It's an Apollonia by the lake scene.
All right.
On a motorcycle. I was like, how can you do that?
Yeah, there we go.
He's
British
talking
Steel.
about it. I agree. I don't think Judas Priest has made a better album since British Steel. And they have some great albums after this. But this is an album I bought when it was new. And I drove my bike. It was maybe a mile and a half. It was kind of far. And I had little legs. And I bought this, right? And I'm really into Unleashing the East. I'm getting a new Priest. And I'm driving home on the bike. And I'm so tired and it's really hot that I stop at a canal. And I sit down at a canal and catch my breath. And I grab the album. I'm looking at it. I'm like, whoa, Rapid Fire Metal Gods? Holy shit. I jump back on the bike, pedaled my ass home. This is a masterpiece. A lot of people say it's overrated, but a lot of people have Down syndrome. All right, this is
I guess I have Down syndrome.
yeah, you do totally. All right, and he talked about this. This is a masterpiece.
Well, I would think it'd be even higher.
I was thinking I was going to be higher.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, that's fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you still love it a lot.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
This is a masterpiece. Unfortunately, this is a version that has Blow the Jug. But
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, oh man, my version has Blow the Jug. I wish my version didn't because that shit no? But yeah, it's a masterpiece. I love Sabotage. And then I got one left, right? And then I do my number 1.
Yeah.
All right, man, come on, bro. It's the Beatles. It's the freaking Beatles. It's the greatest Beatles album ever. In My Life, my second favorite Beatles song. Drive My Car. Nowhere Man. The melodies on Nowhere Man. Michelle. God, man, I love this album. Run for Your Life.
I love Run for Your Life. And I'm Looking Through You. That's a great song, too.
I love that album too.
Last time I saw McCartney, he did I'm Looking Through You.
Oh, he did that? Shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a real rare one he pulled out.
Yeah, I fucking love that track.
So there you go. I only got one left, so I'll wait my turn.
Yep. All right,
All
man.
right. Okay, I thought about this. My number 4, I thought like, hey, what are we going with the Australian version or the international versions? I went with the Australian. I'm saying Highway to Hell as their 6th album. And I did think about it. I think maybe Back in Black. And the funny thing is, as much as I love Highway to Hell, I love it. I mean, don't get me, it's fucking AC/DC, Highway to Hell. I give Back in Black the edge. I actually love Back in Black a little more. But I feel like when AC/DC went into the studio, they were thinking of this as their 6th album. Like, because that's how they recorded. So that's why, for the same reason why I gave the UK Beatles an edge, like I went with the UK version. I said, well, fuck it. AC/DC, although both are legit, it's legit to say Back in Black. But I went with Highway to Hell. I decided that that's what the band thought of as their 6th album. So, either way, it would have been the same anyway. It would have just been Back in Black would have been number 4. So it's kind of interchangeable. But Highway to Hell, it's amazing. My second favorite of Bond. Power is my favorite. But Highway to Hell is amazing. Of course, Mutt Lange came in. It's one of the greatest sounding albums of all time, one of their catchiest. If there's an objective case that this could be their best album, I don't know, it's this or Back in Black or Powerage. They're all masterpieces. But anyway, it's great. Number 3, something that an album that Ralph mentioned already. I'm really into this album. It's not even my favorite album from the band. It's my second favorite. Rocks is my favorite, but I love Night in the Ruts so much. It's like a very strong second favorite Aerosmith album. And it's an album that still to this day, I mean, I loved it even when I first heard it as a teenager. There's something about this album always connected to me. And I heard this before fucking Exile on Main Street, any of that shit. I heard Night in the Ruts. So in a lot of ways, this was the first kind of grimy, street, dark rock and roll album I ever heard, So something about it still to this day really resonates with me. So it's a very strong number 3. And I love every song on it. And it's still a lot of Joe Perry, by the way. Jimmy Crespo only does the solo on 3 Mile Smile. And there's a couple songs that Brad Whitford is playing everything on. But Joe Perry's all over this album still. He left, but he recorded and co-wrote a lot of it. But it's amazing. One of the best. And my second, another album that Ralph brought up is Sabotage, Black Sabbath. My third, I would say it's my third favorite Black Sabbath album, but a very strong number 3. It's one, I think it's their best production, best Ozzy ever sounded, ever, his peak vocals. And the only reason why I put 2 Black Sabbath albums ahead of this is even though I love the second side, the second side dips a little bit, but to me, the first 3 songs, Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe, and Megalomania, that side is the greatest thing Sabbath ever did. To me, that's peak Sabbath. That's peak Sabbath is the first side of Sabotage. They never topped that. But the rest of the shit's solid. I love it. I love the thrill of it all and the writ and all that shit. But to me, those first 3 songs, I'm not counting a little interlude there, but the first 3 songs, that's the best side of any Black Sabbath album ever, in my opinion. And it's a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. So a very, very, how great can this other album be? Which I suspect that maybe a few other people might talk about, but no one's talked about it yet.
Yeah, honestly, my number 1, come on, I'll be very disappointed. Nobody picks my number 1.
I will be too. We might have the same number 1. I'm feeling like we might. We'll see.
All right, man.
It is a big album, so we'll see. But
I will say, to spoil alert everybody, I think the Beatles is the greatest band in the world. And Rubber Soul is my favorite Beatles album. but there's another band I like even more than Rubber Soul. But we're judging the Beatles by one album here. As a whole, they're the greatest band ever. But when it comes to albums, there's a sixth album from another band.
Oh, very good. The anticipation. Can you feel the anticipation, people? I mean, we're already talking about fucking Rubber Soul, Back in Black / Highway to Hell. Fucking, we're talking about some big albums here. Sabotage. I actually thought Sabotage. I was so certain Sabotage was going to be Ralph's number one. So, I thought Rubber Soul would be like your second. So I'm very intrigued.
It is my second favorite Sabbath album right after Sabotage, but sometimes it's fluctuates, but
I would say, it bounces to me. It's vying for Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Sabotage. Those, and sometimes even Master Reality. Those are the four that kind of dance around a little bit.
The first album
I love that first one. I think that's the most underrated of the Sabbath albums. This first one. Yeah.
All right, Manny. What's your next three?
All right, number whatever this number is, but Alice Cooper, $1 Billion Babies. I think
I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, that's the band Alice Cooper, of course.
Yeah.
With Alice, at this point, they perfected their sound, and with Bob Ezrin at the helm, who was really. I hate when people call the producer the sixth member of the band, but in the case of Alice Cooper, he most definitely was for a short while there. Behind the scenes, they're all friends, but they're getting annoyed with Shep pushing Alice forward instead of the band, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But as a band, they really gelled on here very, very well. And it's really the last album that guitarist Glenn Buxton really contributed to guitar-wise, because on Muscle of Love, he's barely on there, though he's credited. Just a great, great, great album. And Alice, the man and the band just rule. Okay, everyone's talked about this album. No, they haven't, but I will. But everyone has brought it up. I'm with Edwin, AC/DC Highway to Hell. Bon Scott's final album, and that was the first rock album, hard rock, heavy metal album I ever got into. So if you want to blame anybody for my love of music, it started with that album. So you can blame Bon Scott, because he was my first rock hero. A matter of fact, I got into AC/DC during one of those anti-rock rallies, because, my mom's Colombian, my dad's Puerto Rican, and listen to rock music. So they played Highway to Hell over the loudspeaker. And I heard ba-da-da, and I never heard music like this before because I didn't listen to radio. And then that voice, dripping with sarcasm and attitude, living easy, loving free. I literally went the next day. Went to Zayre's, a store that doesn't even exist, and bought Highway to Hell. And that was the beginning of my love affair of music. And until I get to my number one, I'll stop with Black Sabbath, Sabotage. Everyone's mentioned it. And the reason everyone's mentioned it, because the album freaking rules.
Yeah.
It is heavier. It is heavier than a ton of bricks. Great songwriting. Ozzy's at the peak of his vocal performance, in my opinion. He never sang that high again, or did he attempt to? Actually, because Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath was the album before that. Excellent album. I do like Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die. I really do love those albums. But as far as the classic run of album releases, this is the end as far as most fans are concerned. Anyway, that is it. And Andy.
Yeah, my 432. No one's mentioned this one yet, and I don't think anybody will. Highway 61 Revisited by Dylan.
I thought about it. It didn't make my list, but of course, it's a masterpiece. It's
a great album. Like a Rolling Stone, Tombstone Blues, Ballad of a Thin Man, Queen J Approximately, Highway 61 Revisited, just like Tom Thumb's Blues and Desolation Row. Side 2 to this is just fantastic, man. I love side 2 to this. It's kind of like I think it was another side to Bob Dylan. Side 2 is just amazing. And
that is one of the most groundbreaking albums.
Oh yeah. Y'all mentioned this one, Highway to Hell. I counted this as their 6th, and that's what the internet said because I was having the same issues. Is it this one or is it Back in Black?
It gets very complicated.
But just like you said, Eddie, if it was going to be Back in Black, it was going to be in the same spot as well because they're both 2 of the best albums of all time, and back to back, man. That's a big feat. And also, what's fantastic is, we listen to a lot of music our whole lives. And when a band usually gets to a 6th album, it's kind of, they're kind of treading waters. But
Starting to peter out a little bit.
But man,
AC/DC were hitting their stride.
Yeah, and not just that, to have fantastic albums, number 6, that makes you a badass band, a historically badass band.
That's true.
My number 2 being 1984. I remember when I asked my mom to buy me this. That baby is smoking, so awesome. But it's also an angel. So 1984 by Van Halen. I fell in love with this when it came out. I was 10 at the time, 9 going on 10, and you could just imagine what those videos were for me and the music. It just led me on my path of what everything is around me because of 1984 was my break.
And there was such a, not just a groundbreaking band, because but think about everything that followed Van Halen, and all the guitar players and frontmen. Suddenly, you had to be a front man. You couldn't just be a singer.
No, you had to be a badass front man to make it.
Yeah. I mean, Brian Johnson and Bon were the exception. Well, Bon was so cool; he could stand still and people lost their shit. But that's an exception to the rule. But suddenly, David Lee Roth, you had to be a front man. You just could not be a singer. There's no way to
be a badass beer drinking pussy fucking dude on stage. That's what you had to be.
All right, man. My number 4. You guys, some of you Ralph mentioned this one. You guys mentioned Highway to Hell, but I'm going Back in Black as their 6th one.
Okay.
This is the first AC/DC album I ever heard, courtesy of my older brother. He had the cassette, and I was an 8-year-old kid, and hearing Highway, Back in Black, Hell's Bells, all that shit. I mean, Hell's Bells, starting off with that, scared me as a kid, but so ominous. But yeah, it intrigued me at the same time. So, I mean, I really was getting into rock music because of my older brother, and this was one of the albums that he had. So,
look at Al's copy of Back in Black.
Yeah, it's got the white AC/DC on it.
And then look at mine.
Yeah, Ralph's is so faded.
You got the original. Pressing.
This is the one I bought in 1980. But man, you can barely make out it.
Yeah, I could see the embossed AC/DC on yours there. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Which one do I have?
I need to get, and it crackles like a motherfucker. I need to buy it. I'm gonna buy it on CD.
You don't have it on CD? I'm surprised.
Oh, actually,
if you have the Bonfire.
I forgot. I have the Bonfire box set.
Yeah,
and that's a remaster. So that version sounds decent.
Huh?
Yeah.
Number 3.
Everyone has Sabotage, of course.
Yeah,
it has to.
My favorite Sabbath is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, followed by the first album. Then it's this one. That's my top 3 Sabbaths. But yeah, Sabotage. I mean, again, you guys mentioned that's peak Ozzy, man. To me, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and this one is just Ozzy at his absolute peak as a vocalist. And those who say that he doesn't have range and all that is fucking full of shit. Because you try singing some of this stuff, man, and it's fucking impossible. Pretty much. My number 2 might actually surprise people.
Is it the Elf soundtrack?
Because people knowing me would probably think it's number 1, but it's my number 2 actually. So
what? That's not number 1.
It's not number 1.
It's still very high.
Andy, where is Al?
This is my second favorite Rush album after Permanent Waves. So Permanent Waves and then this one. But yeah, this is a masterpiece in itself, man. I mean, this is peak prog fucking Rush, dude. I mean, at their most fucking progressive, dude. Prog metal and hard rock, whatever you want to call it. It's even got like a backstage pass there from the Hemispheres tour. The band Stars opening up for them.
What a mismatch.
Well, I dig Stars. I think they're a good band. We're a good band.
So,
oh yeah, they're a good band, but they're such a mismatch with Rush.
Yeah, opening for Rush anyway.
Oh,
Another friend of mine saw the Hemisphere tour with Cheap Trick opening, actually. So that's a cool fucking pairing for me. But yeah, that's my number 2. And I think I think the number 1 is going to be pretty obvious now.
I don't. Now I'm thinking, is there a chance that we all pick the same number 1? I don't know. I just know there's a really big album that no one said yet.
I don't know, man. Look at that poster. Look at that poster.
I got a feeling we're going to.
I don't. Do we get something? Do we get an award if we all pick the same album?
Well, I'm telling you right now, I didn't pick the same album.
Oh, Andy's throwing us off.
All right, Ralph.
All right,
Okay, Ralph,
Andy
you
did
go.
not. But Ralph, what do you got?
It's their masterpiece. It's the greatest album from one of the greatest bands ever, man. This is
There it is.
my favorite 6th album of all time. Every song on here. And you know, look, like I was saying earlier about, you know, I think the Beatles are better. But this is even better than the White Album. I'm sorry with excuse me. This album, Down by the Seaside. Then you have the Wanton song. Then you have Custard Pie. Then you have The Rover and My Time of Dying, 10 Years Gone. Night Flight. Night Flight to me is the biggest mystery of this album because Night Flight is as catchy as any Led Zeppelin song that's played to death on the radio. How Night Flight is not one of those songs baffles me, you know? But yeah, Physical Graffiti is the greatest double album, studio album, in my opinion. The greatest album from Led Zeppelin. And goddamn, do I love Led Zeppelin. I was just listening to House of the Holy yesterday. What an album. But anyway, yeah. I got the box set with the different mix where, what was it? Kashmir was called like Going Down the Desert or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, hell yeah, that's number 1 right there. Physical Graffiti.
And we both have pictures in front of the building.
Oh yeah, you took a picture in front of it?
Yeah, before I moved down here, I met Kate Doré there. And we met up and we went to me and my buddy that lives in Staten Island, we met up with her and her fiance, and we went to see a comedy show that night. We went to go see Jim Norton, actually. But we met up right in front of that building. That's where me and her met up. We were like, where we're gonna meet up. I'm like, why don't we meet up in front of the Physical Graffiti building? She's like, perfect.
Nice.
So
yeah, you know, when I took that picture, I stayed with my good friend Carlos, who lives in New York.
Yeah.
Poor guy, he's a metalhead, you know. And I flew to New York to see Letters to Cleo. And I dragged him along with me. Anyway, so, you know, we had all day to burn, and I said to him, all right, I want to take a picture in front of the Physical Graffiti building, or, because I didn't want to drag them all around the city, or where Kiss stood for Dress to Kill. You know, either one. And he said, well, the Physical Graffiti's closer. And I was like, you know, I also like Zeppelin more than Kiss. Oh, my God. So yeah, fucking Physical Graffiti, bro. Where every time I mention Physical Graffiti, you always have to have that bonehead. You know the Rolling Stones filmed it. We're waiting for a friend in front of that building too, right? Did you know that?
Yeah.
I did not know that, Ralph, till you just said that about the Rolling
You didn't
Stones.
know that?
Yeah.
You didn't know that was
No, I
the
did
Physical
not.
Graffiti building? Wow.
Well, you see, that idiot that was telling me that was more useful for you, not me.
Yeah, apparently, because I did not know that. So,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Same
All right, Eddie. What's your thoughts on Physical Graffiti?
I'm not going to say what my number one is yet. But,
Shit in here.
yeah, we all know what's going to be. But I will just say, and this may or may not be connected, but I was living in New York City. I lived there twice in my life. And one time, though, was early on when I was younger, before the internet kind of took off. And, I would hang out sometimes down in St. Mark's place where the Physical Graffiti building is. And I'd hang out there. I'd eat like a slice of pizza. I'd be talking to like some skank I'm like trying to make, and I'd look up and go, "Hey, it's the Led Zeppelin building," and never got a picture though. I regret it. I wish I had a picture by it, but like I stood in front of that building many times and never got a fucking picture. But what's even better than that building is the fucking album, Physical Graffiti, #1. It's when I was younger, when I was like a teenager, I did think the White Album was the greatest double album, and it is my personal favorite Beatles album. But as I got older and I got knocked around by life and my ears developed, I decided, as great as the White Album is, Physical Graffiti is the greatest double album of all time. It's just better. It's like the White Album, but even better.
It's like the White Album without George Harrison.
Without George Harrison, and it's got like bigger balls and more Satan, and it's amazing, and the production, it's the greatest produced album. You would not have Mutt Lange and Back in Black if it wasn't for Physical Graffiti first, and that's Jimmy Page as the producer.
Edwin, I hate to cut you off, but Edwin said this thing on one of his YouTube videos. Any cat is scratchy, go subscribe, or you're a prick. He said one time in one of his videos, and I never thought about this before. He said in one of his videos that Jimmy Page is like the greatest producer. And I was like, you know what, man? Thinking of this alone, I'm like, God, I got to agree. I think Jimmy Page is the greatest producer ever. And I'm not lying, Edwin. Like 3 days later, Martin Popoff does this episode where he says he's a horrible producer. And I was like, mind blown.
Yeah, he's a science denier. It's obviously Jimmy Page. I mean, just listen to those first 6 or 7 or 8 Led Zeppelin albums. Definitely the first 6. That's undeniable. You listen to those first 6. Best sounding albums, and they just got better sounding and better sounding. Each one, think about 3 compared to how the first 2 sounded. And the first 2 sounded great, but 3 is like fucking Technicolor, the acoustics and all the different dynamics. And then 4, and then think about how Houses of the Holy sounds. And then finally, Physical Graffiti. It's like you can't make a better sounding rock and roll record than Physical Graffiti.
Honestly, Edwin, like I said, I was listening to House of the Holy yesterday. Dude, I think it sounds as good.
It's close. It sounds like the almost very close second best sounding rock and roll record. I still think Physical Graffiti has a little bit of an edge to it, in my opinion.
I was just like blown away by the sound of it too.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, Houses of Holy. I mean, God, it's like as great as Abbey Road sounds. Houses of the Holy sounds better. It's like even better.
Every chord,
that
Jimmy Page plays in the Rain song is pure genius. It's Sammy Hagar level genius.
It's all that, and then the thing too, it's like all different sessions from Physical Graffiti. It's all mixed together to sound perfect. It's just how everything goes into each other. I think 10 Years Gone is my favorite Zeppelin song. I can't listen to that song without being moved. Objectively, I think it's probably Kashmir. It's probably the greatest Zeppelin song ever, but personally, it's 10 Years Gone. In the Light, fucking The Rover, fucking the Wanton song. It's a Night Flight. It's fucking awesome. It's one of the greatest albums ever, and to me, it's undeniable. It's also something about it. I feel like, with maybe the exception of the Doors album, that's a strong contender for objectively best top 6 because the singer died, But there's something about this that's very strong 6th album. And I think this is why Ralph even edged out the Beatles. There's just something about it, like it's about evolution. Like this is like a perfect sixth album. Like the band just kept getting better and better and better. And then fuck you all. We've reached the peak, the pinnacle of rock and roll music. So to me, it's like the ultimate sixth album. It's the first one I thought of too. When I made this list, I was like, oh, Physical Graffiti. Well, that's obviously number one. How do I work backwards from there? So like, that's it.
Yeah, when I was looking through the list, because I'd go on Google, I'd put in Black Sabbath discography. I don't even know that fucking Sabotage six album.
You didn't even.
I had to look all the shit up. So when I looked up Led Zeppelin, and I saw Physical Graffiti was their sixth album, I was like, "There's no album that can beat this."
Nope, it's number one. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
The Wall from Pink Floyd was not released that year. That's the only. Yeah, there again. The Wall to me, I even put above Physical Graffiti because The Wall to me is the greatest album ever made, and there's no album I put on that grips my soul like.
So good. Yeah.
Like The Wall, it just grips me, man. Like the emotions on that album. So yeah, this will be my second favorite double studio album, but The Wall is numero uno. Anyway, Manny,
what's your number one?
What's your? There you go. He's in the club.
Yeah, if you want hard rock, heavy metal, Custard Pie. You want some blues, you've got it. You want the acoustic stuff, you've got it. Also, the first album where Robert Plant actually does not steal lyrics from blues guys, which will get him in trouble. Because I get tired of hearing how Led Zeppelin stole a whole lot of love. If you listen to the Willie Dixon version, I think recorded by Howlin' Wolf, it sounds nothing like a whole lot of love.
Yeah,
But anyway,
it's like black and white turned to widescreen technical.
It's like Ralph always says. Yeah, they may have stolen, but they made it fucking better.
They made it
the
better.
only thing they stole was lyrics because Robert Plant did not sometimes. I don't know why he didn't write his own.
And who cares? All those old blues guys stole from each other anyway. It's fucking rock
They all
and roll.
stole from Robert Johnson, really. But that's another story.
my point is the human race is full of Down syndrome people. Because if you really, really think about it, all these people that say Led Zeppelin are thieves, they did that, they'll never talk about Kashmir. They'll never talk about Night Flight. They'll never talk about In My Time. They'll never talk about
10 years gone, yeah.
Or the World War. They won't talk about rock and roll or when the levee breaks. They won't talk about none of that because they didn't steal from that. But we want to focus on how the ripoff artists, because we have Down syndrome.
It's like, you ever hear that song for Spirit that they went to court for Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah.
You hear a couple notes and you go, hey, that sounds a little like Stairway to Heaven. 1 minute later, you're like, okay, never mind. Left them in the fucking dust. Left them in the dust and turned it into something else.
I like the band Spirit, but that was a bullshit lawsuit. Not only that, it was brought on by one of the bandmates on behalf of the estate of a guy who had died already.
Randy California, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even the judge heard it and said, yeah, it's a nice song, but it ain't fucking Stairway to Heaven. Case closed.
But
Get the fuck out of here.
This album, I mean, it encompasses everything that is great about Led Zeppelin, what is great about rock music, what is great about what is going to be called heavy metal. This thing is just Led Zeppelin's influence. I mean, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Chuck Berry. I don't know. I think Led Zeppelin's influence is probably even greater than those artists I mentioned.
I think they are. I think the one song sounds like proto groove metal to me. That's like some Pantera shit there. Like
it is
so ahead of the fucking game.
Keep in mind, in 1975 or whatever year this was released, that this was called the heaviest album of its time. Now I don't agree with it because of Black Sabbath and Mountain, but I do know what the critics mean. And also, like every band that we loved and everyone we've named on here, except for the Doors, who were critics' darlings, much to Jim's annoyance. Led Zeppelin was hated till the 1990s by those very same
Oh, yeah.
magazines that not praise them.
No,
But anyway, one of the greatest albums of all time, if not the greatest. And this is coming from a guy who worships Jimi Hendrix and the Doors, and I'm saying this. So this is Ralph. You're right. It's fantastic, and even Paul McCartney and John Lennon liked this album. And
Wow. And they could be cunts, especially John Lennon.
Yeah.
So, my number one, it's not Physical Graffiti because I don't like Side 4.
Oh, you just got to be the big deal that Side 4 is not as awesome as the first three sides.
So that really did make my decision easy. I've never liked Side 4. I've tried for years. I just can't. But the first three sides are fantastic. But I'm going to go with Rubber Soul as my number one.
you can't go wrong with Rubber.
It's a great album.
It's when I got the CD when I was a kid, I got the UK version, and then when I started collecting vinyl, I found it, and then I noticed it was the US version, but I didn't know that because I saw the songs were different. So I asked the guy that was working at the record shop and explained to me everything about the US versions, and so of course I had to hunt down US versions too. So I got both versions on vinyl, but the UK version is the first one. It's the one that I love. So that's my number one, sixth album. It's going to be the Beatles' Rubber Soul.
Which is an excellent album, and also another one of the most influential albums in rock history.
Oh yeah.
By the way, the first one I heard was the American version. Then when I got the CD, I thought I had the wrong CD, because I was used to the American version.
You know, just one thing I just want to digress. I actually had a cassette. I wish I kept it because I found out years later it was rare. I had an American version of Rubber Soul and cassette that had the false start to I'm Looking Through You. I found out later that was a very specific, unique mix that is not common, where Paul starts playing the acoustic guitar, stops, and then starts playing again. And then I never heard that again in any other later mixes. And thanks to the internet, I found out that I apparently had this like super fucking rare version, this rare early mix of the Capitol Rubber Soul that had a false start. And man, I wish I had that cassette still. I just I threw it in the fucking trash. I was like, oh, I'm replacing it with a CD. So, if I only knew that that's really rare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped throwing anything away.
You all
I
know
will give it away before I throw it away.
I threw away shit all the time. I'm crazy that way.
You all know what my number one is.
Yeah, there we go. Andy's the one odd man out, but it's all right.
I'm Lone Wolf.
That guy right there. That guy right back there. Right there. Jimmy fucking Page, man. And I agree with you, bro, with the fucking producer thing.
Yeah, it's the
He
greatest
doesn't,
fucking
get name,
producer
he doesn't
ever.
get name checked with the whole producer thing, man.
No, people, because he's too busy being one of the greatest guitarist fucking rock gods of all time that overshadows that he's the greatest producer of all time.
I think the greatest albums ever made, except for The Firm.
I think as a producer and songwriters, the band is overlooked. Personally,
I think Physical Graffiti is perfect, especially Side 4.
I knew that was coming.
It's so awesome. You need it to kind of just chill a little bit by the end. just like chill out a little bit. And then but I feel it ends strong with Sick Again. I think that's really strong. And then you're like, let's get going again. Let's start over. It makes you want to go back to the beginning. Like you go over again.
I mean, my love of Zeppelin stemmed from my older brother too. That was his favorite band of all time. And I remember being so young, and he would come home with a new Zeppelin album, and I was just intrigued that I'd come home, and he took meticulous care of his vinyl, bro. We would slit the sleeve open, the plastic, keep everything like in the plastic and everything, but take the liner notes out, gently put the see him put the needle on the record. It's just fucking amazing. As a little kid, it just intrigued me, and like he'd sit there, look at the liner notes and the artwork, and just just Zeppelin was just this mystical thing for me, man. As a little kid, and and Physical Graffiti, man. That was like unbelievable as a kid, just hearing that. So,
Well, if I ever write that book, I threaten to write the history of hard rock metal, which I know I would start with the blues and whatever. I'd probably interview you guys, but the one Led Zeppelin would get a chapter, and period. And that it's just a great band. So, well, guys,
After the show, I'm gonna play this right here. This is the one with the different songs, like
the different like rough mixes and stuff.
well, like Trampled Underfoot was called Brandy and Coke.
Yeah.
You got Sick
Yeah.
Again, My Time of Dying, House of the Holy. Everybody Makes It Through, which is later became In the Light. Boogie with Stu, and Dancing Through Kashmir. That's the original. I haven't played this in a while. I got to play that.
I've got the CD version of that, Ralph, and I've got it on vinyl. I got 2 versions on CD, including the one with the bonus CD. I've listened to this album so much. My 2 older boys who are not really into music love Led Zeppelin and the Doors and Jimi Hendrix. They don't like much of else what I like because I made the mistake of allowing them to be individual people and having their own opinions. I should have never done that. But in all seriousness, I mean, Led Zeppelin appeals to people that don't even like a lot of rock music.
You don't even need to like music to like Led Zeppelin.
You know, Manny. I have no kids that I know of, and I know you have several.
Yeah.
But if ever I was a father, you know how I would raise my kid? I'd raise them to never drive an automobile because traffic sucks. And if you would pass that to your children, all 26 of them, stop having kids.
Anybody got any honorable mentions?
Oh man, I got a bunch. I'll
Go
go.
ahead.
Well, guys,
ahead,
I'm
No,
I'm out. So
you out, Manny?
yeah,
All
but
right.
thank you for having me on, Andy, Al, Ralph. I'll see you on Thursday.
Right on.
And, Edwin, cool cat as always.
But hey, always a pleasure, Manny.
Manny,
Later.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, here's my honorable mention. A lot of Blue Oyster Cult fans don't like this album.
I like that one though.
This album.
You know, that's an album. That's one that's really grown on me recently too. Like for years, I did not like it, but I listen to it like all the time now. It's like a go-to, especially in the morning. I like listening to it in the morning.
Indeed, the visual, Dr. Music. I mean, this album, and yes, it was a little grower for me too back then. Because I like Spectres a lot. I got this, I was like, Then Cult of Thorns came out. I'm like, God damn it. It's still my favorite. God damn, it's great. So this kind of got lost in the shuffle. But revisiting it the last decade or so, I love this album. It does have Moon Crazy, which I don't like.
I actually kind of like Moon Crazy. It has a little bit of a Doors vibe to it. I like it.
They're so different in BOC. They're so different from everybody else. That's weird.
I love it, yeah, but it's like their version of a pop album. It's funny because they pretty much failed because that album I don't think did that well. But like they essentially were trying to sell out. But to BOC's credit, they're just too weird to sell out effectively. So instead, they create this kind of surreal, weird little pop album that's only a big pop hit in like BOC world. But you listen to it and you go, yeah, this is what the kids are listening to in BOC world, and it's a great album. I really love it.
In V, that's all I can say.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful song.
This is an amazing comeback album from Armored Saint, Revelation.
It's a good album.
Blew my mind. The Pillar, Pay Dirt, After Me, The Flood, Damage, Control Issues, What's Your Pleasure?
Because the one before that was
Symbol of Salvation.
Symbol of Salvation, and then they took it was almost a 10-year hiatus, right, or more than that.
They kind of broke up because John joined Anthrax.
What was the name of that album again?
Revelation.
All right.
Armored Saint, yeah.
All right, next one. I love this album. This is kind of like a return
Ah.
one. Raven Life's a Bitch. Like the last album, you know, record company pressure. And it's weird because this is still on Atlantic Records. Was it Atlantic? Yeah, they were still on Atlantic Records, but they did it their way. But then Atlantic Records didn't push it. But this is an underrated gem from Raven. All right. Hey, I'm counting the glam albums. Vulgar Display of Power. This is the Pantera album I listen to the least. I don't listen to it much.
That's my favorite one, actually.
I love that album.
I love A New Level. That's like one of my favorite.
They opened up with that too.
Yeah.
Fucking what a song. Yeah. Mouth of War, fucking Hostile, Regular People by Demons Be Driven. I love that. Dio, man. This is a pissed off album.
I love it. My second favorite Dio album. That album kicks ass. After Holy Diver, I go right to that one.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Humanizer part 2 because Dio ain't singing about magic and making things come true and rainbows on this. This is a dark album. Like, hey, guess what? Your life is fucked. Go ahead, go to college. You're still gonna get a shit job. This was dark shit, man.
Oh yeah, it's great. Awesome album.
This one's very special to me, and as you can tell, I bought it when it was new. Scream,
Another great album.
fucking to me, Ted Nugent. Well, one album after this, that was the peak Ted Nugent. I love
What
it.
is that? His sixth?
This is his sixth album.
Yeah, Intensities
No,
is
because I
his
thought
last
this was
great
his
album.
sixth.
No, man, you got the first album, Free for All.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Maybe you're counting the Armory Saints shit.
No, look. First album, Free for All, Cat Scratch Fever, Weekend Warrior, State of Shock, and then this.
Oh, I guess I was wrong then.
They're both great. I'd probably go with the Screen Dream a little bit better, even though I love that fucking album.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Screen Dream, man. I saw this tour. It's probably my third show. It was the Scorpions, Pat Travers, and a little known unknown band back then called the Scorpions.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing show. to see.
I was like third row, and Ted Nugent came out, swinging on the rope and shit. But yeah, Violent Love is one of my favorite Nugent songs. Nobody talks about. Then you got Permanent El Dorado, Wango Tango. Which, funny enough,
Oh,
when I saw this tour, he played Wango Tango, but I've never seen him play it since.
Yeah, it's weird. You think that'd be a staple. It's such
He
a
only
catchy
did it on
song.
this tour. He
Yeah.
only did it on this tour.
I thought of that one. It almost made my list. It didn't, but I do love that album.
All right, my last one, Voulez-Vous from
That's a
Apple.
great album too.
I got that
I
one,
love
too.
that album.
This Chiquitica, Voulez-Vous. I love I Have a Dream. Oh my God. Does Your Mother Know is kind of like a weird song to listen to now because it's about some little jailbait girl trying to bang the dude.
Yeah.
And he's saying,
That's a
"Mom,
good record. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that song. That's so catchy.
that song could be a good thrash song.
Oh yeah, it's catchy. It's rocking. Yeah.
You can thrash it up, but I thought about it, but then I thought, I'm not going to sing a song about a 15-year-old that wants to suck my dick.
Well, everyone was singing about that stuff back then.
Yeah, but not now. I can't do that now,
yeah.
I got to behave. I got to fall in line. Woke forever.
And in Sweden, that shit's not illegal, I think.
So there you go. That's all. I know
All right,
there's
listen.
more.
You got any honorables?
Yeah,
Eddie?
I got 5 honorables. A few that have been mentioned. Billion Dollar Babies, obviously. An amazing album. I was surprised it didn't make my top 10. There were just 10 I liked more.
I'm surprised I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's my second favorite Alice Cooper album after Killer, so it's amazing. But somehow didn't make it. Pink Floyd Metal, obviously, you guys talked about that. That's my that might be my favorite Pink Floyd album. I love that album. It's amazing. White Snake, Slide It In. I'm a big fan of that album. To me,
Yes.
it bridges the 2 eras,
Yeah.
especially if you get the US mix. It's like it bridges, it's got the bluesiness from the first era, but brings in kind of the harder rockin', like metallic.
It was John Sykes. Yeah.
Yeah,
came
John
in.
Sykes stuff
Yeah.
came in for the remix. And you get Mooney in like John Sykes in the US mix, the only album. And you get also Cozy Powell playing drums
And Martin Birch producing.
And Martin Birch producing the last one of John Lord. So it's bringing together a lot of elements. So
Yeah.
and the songs are all really catchy. It's like a really fucking strong album. I love the production. It has a kind of physical graffiti-esque sound to the production, you know? Like slow and easy and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got that, you know, I got that remastered edition. All my vinyls, unfortunately, because I'm in transition right now, are in a box, you know. But I got that version that has the UK version and the US version as a double album. And I like both versions, but I do prefer the US version. I think the US version of John Sykes is even punchier and kind of takes shit to the next level.
Yeah.
And I like the track listing on that one better too. It's a band that no one ever talks about in the RMCP Army because it's not their thing. Sonic Youth, I am a big fan of, and their sixth album is Goo, probably their biggest album.
Goo, yeah.
The one that had the song Cool Thing on it. Love that album. I would say it's like there's about 5 or 6 Sonic Youth albums I love more, but I definitely like the 4 before that one better, but I love Goo still. I think it's a great album.
It is good.
One of my favorite albums from the early 90s. And then a band that I kind of avoided because their discography is such a clusterfuck, like even more so than Aerosmith. I mean, not Aerosmith, AC/DC and the Beatles in terms of UK, US versions. The Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what the fuck is the Rolling Stones 6th album?
I don't want to look.
I almost didn't want to look. Finally, I looked, and it was such a great album that I felt like, well, if we're going by the US version.
It's the Aftermath?
Yes, Aftermath. So if we're going by the US version, it is Aftermath, and that is an amazing album. So
I thought it was this one.
Not UK, it is that one. US it's Aftermath. It's fucking complicated because they fucked it all.
It is complicated, yeah.
And I do love that one, but Aftermath I think is even better. Essentially, Aftermath is the Rolling Stones' Rubber Soul. That's how I think of it. And it's an amazing, and both versions are great. I probably like the US version a little bit better.
I got the 3D cover.
That's very bad. I do. That album's a big grower. I love that now.
Yeah.
That's almost the Stones almost like skipped. Well, I guess in a way, Between the Buttons is kind of their Pepper, and that's more like their mystery tour.
Yeah,
I thought Between the Buttons would be more of their Revolver.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's kind of like they don't really have a full-out Revolver and Pepper. They kind of have Between the Buttons, which is a little bit of both. And then they want full druggy mystery tour with that. But then they got better with Mick Taylor. Yeah, they got better. But to me, my favorite pre-Mick Taylor album is Aftermath. I think that's their best pre-album. And both versions, the UK or the US versions, really strong. So there you go. So if we're going by the US versions, the Aftermath. There you go.
Right on.
All right. I just have a handful of ones. Of course, in honorable mention, it's going to be Physical Graffiti, of course. That was in my list. Just that side 4, I just couldn't put it in the top 10. Never Surrender by Triumph. I love that album.
Yes. Got it right here.
But you had it ready to go.
Yeah.
I love the song All the Way on that album.
So
I just didn't pull that one out.
Yeah, All the Way, man.
I don't know if this was an actual album. It was a. It's hard to describe it, but U2 Rattle and Hum. I don't know if that's
kind of like half a live album.
Yeah, so, half live and half studio. That's why I didn't put it on there. But I think it has to be mentioned because it was a pretty big album for them. It was really a celebrate album. And also, I'm going to put Carolina Dreams in there by the Marshall Tucker Band. I love the Marshall Tucker Band. That was their 6th album. And I am going to put Rush Hemispheres as my last 5th one. I like that album too. Just, wasn't into my top 10. So those are my 5.
All right, man.
Hurting and
I'll run through a couple here. Motley Crue. This is their 6th album, man.
Oh shit! Hey, if I would have known that I would have I would have grabbed that one.
And
too.
this is one of my favorite albums by him. After the first three, this is like right there. So yeah, there you go. Boom.
Yeah, me and Al have the red version because we love Russia.
You fucking commies.
This is a little off the beaten path, man. But I love this. I love this band. They're, and this album, "Music for the Masses" by Depeche Mode, I love a lot. This is when they got dark lyrically and even musically. They're darker. Their earlier stuff is a little more dance synthy pop kind of stuff. This is when they are starting to get like more dark lyrically and stuff like that. So I do love Depeche Mode. I love this album, "Music for the Masses." So that's one. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog.
Oh my God.
Oh, is that their 6th album?
That's their 6th album, man.
Oh, okay.
And arguably probably their most popular one.
I think it's their best too. I
Yeah.
love a lot of their stuff, but I think that's their best.
Hair of the Dog. I gotta mention that one.
The American version of Hair of the Dog. That's the best version.
Yeah, it's got Love Hurts on it, and it's, yeah.
And Guns N' Roses is doing a better version of that song, Hair of the Dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you dog.
See what you did there, Andy.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, I didn't know you smoked meth.
Oh, what do you think I went over there for? Had to do it off camera.
Another one is Face Warning, Parallels. I came in on the Ray Alder kind of version of Face Warning. I know a lot of people like the John Arch version. I do like the earlier stuff, but Parallels, for me, that's like a masterpiece album by them. I love that album. So that's another one. REM Green. I do love that album.
It's a good album.
I love that.
I'm a big fan of the IRS REM album.
Yeah,
This was the first one on Warner Brothers, but I still feel like this was right on par with the IRS stuff. I do love Green. I love that album a lot. So Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. I know a lot of people don't like this one.
Oh, I like that.
I do love this one. I listened to this one a lot when it was new. So, and then I'll even throw in the Who, Quadrophenia as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How can I forget that one? That would be like my number 4.
Yeah.
That's a freaking masterpiece.
That's a masterpiece as well. Yeah.
I'd bump a hard show in a second for Quadrophenia. An amazing album.
Yeah.
Is that like a UK or US thing with the Who? I don't know so much about their early discography. Is it as fucked up as the Beatles and the
No, they're not as screwed up as
okay.
Nah. They're a little more straightforward. Like it's a little more,
The
but that is considered their 6th album though. Quadrophenia.
Okay, so it's a proper 6th album. Okay.
And it's a double album too, a great double album, man.
The thing very interesting about the Who is that they've been around for almost 60 years.
Yeah, almost.
And their discography is not that big.
It's not.
They don't have a big discography, which is great.
Well, from 1982, it's hard. They didn't have an album for 30 years almost. Like,
Faith Fences, and then that last one that came out.
Yeah.
Endless Squire was the next one, and I love the last one, self-titled The Who. I love
that was good.
No, not talked about. I thought it was a fantastic album.
Listen, Pete Townsend's a genius, but he's busy doing drugs, having gay sex. He can't make albums all the time. He's got to do shit.
He's sucking cock with Rob Halford, bro.
Halford was able to make all those records.
Anyway, that's our show. Ralph, check him out on Almost Human. Subscribe to his channel there. Also, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Eddie Canestracci, check out his channel. I mean, he articulates shit like I could never articulate. Discographies and all sorts of shit like that. So
he really does do a big dive into it. When Eddie picks a band, he really picks a band.
Yeah,
he really gets down in there.
The thing about Eddie's channel and Al brought it up, it's kind of like intellectual, and he's really good with words. So if you like that vibe, man, you definitely gotta. But if you want the opposite of a guy that's at a 3rd grade level, come check out my channel.
The yin yang, you got both. Although I get that way too after if you get to like the later stage of the video after the alcohol kicked in, like my Van Halen video. Like, you know. I'm pretty stupid by the time I get to fair warning.
I need no alcohol to be that stupid.
Yeah, that's why you're the master.
Hey Ralph, so Ralph, what do you got coming up on your channel, man? What's the next episode?
I'm gonna have a review of the album Malice by License to Kill that'll probably get 10 views, but I don't care because you know my philosophy on YouTube is if I can reach one motherfucker, it's worth it. And I have this really cool guy called Dennis Turney Jr. that I swear to God, in my bedroom, I have a picture of him and his girlfriend. He sent me, you know, a little stand, and I put it right there. Like every morning, I wake up to Dennis Turney Jr. Well, where the hell was I going with this? Oh yeah, he loved some video that nobody watched, and he goes, "Thank you so much for getting me into that band." And I'm like, I don't care if nobody watches my videos unless it's, you know, a couple people that I'll turn into. You know, I mean, the two greatest things I get a lot is that you turned me on to this band, and today, you know, it's the anniversary of my dad's death, and when I announced it on Facebook, I got so many comments of my mom and dad died 4 months within each other, and if it wasn't for my channel, you know, hearing that, how I help people get through it, you know.
It's worth it, man.
Hey, Ralph's videos got me through some tough shit. So
me too, man.
Been there.
Me too.
Yeah, so I totally get that.
I love that I got to help you guys because, you know, it means a lot to me because I don't do it. I do it because I initially did my YouTube videos because I loved Black Sabbath so much. I wanted to review their album, and it just skyrocketed since then, you know?
Yeah. How many years ago did you start that channel?
You know, I think it was 2007.
Wow.
And oddly enough, I started my channel on July 4th.
Shit, man, you're going on 20 years, man, almost.
So yeah, you were really there at like the ground level. That was
you were
intuitive.
I tell my people, you know, like Edwin too, you know, it's a shame that Edwin didn't start when I did, because if he did, he'd even have more numbers than me. But you came in, Edwin, when the whole world came in.
Oh yeah, I had to really fight up there, you know, getting out there. But yeah, it's a totally different world.
I've been there forever, man. Like, you know, not only am I old in age, but I'm old as fuck on YouTube. You know?
Yeah,
that's
but
awesome.
You know, and Ralph's always been so awesome. Very early on, he was very supportive of my channel, and he's always like plugged my shit, and you know, it was awesome because he's like essentially my mentor. He's like the person that got me making the videos, and you know, I think one thing Ralph and I have in common, we got different styles in some senses, but we're both very authentic. That's the thing. We're just guys just saying what we think about shit. And there are people, it does, you know, I've had, even at this point, you know, I don't have as many people as Ralph does following him, but I have had those, I've gotten to the point where I do get those messages sometimes from people saying, hey, like I broke up with my girlfriend, I was having a tough time, and I was just binged a bunch of your videos about this, and you actually get those things, and those are like the coolest things. And also like my Melvin's video did really good, and like I get people say like I got into the band because of you, like you helped me to listen to the right albums. Those are the best. Those are the best things. And then I got people saying, yeah, Jesse Pink's an asshole. Bon Scott didn't write the lyrics. And I get those, and then I didn't know that those were those shark fins in that scene in Jaws. I get that a lot. So like it's really cool when you get those kind of messages where you're like actually connecting with people and helping them through shit or turning them on to something. That makes you feel like it's great. Like that's what it should be about connecting with people. And that's what you guys do. And now you connect us to community. You get people talking about this shit. Us guys who are obsessed with music, you know.
I'm telling you, Paul didn't die, Eddie.
I was thinking, yeah, you know, I mean, I've gotten a gazillion like hateful comments.
Yeah.
Because the more numbers you get, more haters you
get. Oh
get.
yeah, you always get haters.
I forget them all except one. There's one hater comment I'll never forget. and it was a guy that loved Vinnie Vincent. And I said something bad about Vinnie Vincent. He goes, "If I ever meet you, I swear, I'm not lying. I swear to you, I'm going to go up to you and bite meat off your face."
Wow.
Are you sure it's not? It wasn't Vinnie Vincent.
That sounds like a Vinnie Vincent thing.
Oh, 'cause he said, "If I ever saw you, I'd get on my knees."
That sounds like a Vinnie Vincent thing.
Anyway, man, Andy, what do we got going on next week?
Next week, I got to confirm our guest, but it's a show that I've been trying to do for the past month with Nate Bushy Atchison and Metal Mike. We've been trying to do this, and then something always happens. So hopefully next week we will have them ranking our favorite title tracks. So we'll be doing that. And also, last night, me and Kate DeRay and Jerry Soupy, we've got another podcast called Three Shots Down. And we did an episode about the concert at Altamont.
Oh,
So
cool.
hopefully that'll be coming out at the end of the week. So that was a very fun show to talk about.
Cool.
We really go off.
Well, no, I'll check that out. That's one of my favorite documentaries ever. Is the Rolling Stones "Give Me Shelter" about that. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Sounds
Why are we fighting, Case? Why are we fighting?
What are we fighting for? Should we all just be friends?
Settle down, everybody. Just settle down, honey.
I would love to give a shout out to Metal Mike.
Yeah.
Because he sent flowers to my father's funeral.
Well,
And not only that, you know, he spent like 5 hours with me in Nashville because he didn't want me to spend the whole day in the airport. And he lived far, but we went to Johnny Cash Museum. Metal Mike is the shit. I love
He's a
him.
great dude, man.
yeah, he's a great guy, man.
Bushy drove over 6 hours to come see my band.
Yeah, they're both great guys, man.
Both great guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Bushy, you know, he's a questionable.
The OU812 thing, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's got questionable taste. I blame that on the altitude of the mountains he lives.
Of being stuck in the mountains in the Carolinas.
It's the mountain air affects his music taste sometimes. But he's a great guy, and Metal Mike's. Yeah.
There's something about the Appalachians that, you know.
And I think it's very impressive, his beard, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen chicks grow a beard like that. Come on, the guy was a fucking Debbie Gibson fan. And Ian told me just at the Rocket Pod they were there, Tiffany showed up and he lost his mind.
Yeah. He took pictures of her with her.
Yeah, I know, man. He's got pictures of her and everything.
It's Behind Blue Eyes from Limp Bizkit is better than the Hoovers.
Oh,
He really
like Eddie said, questionable here.
Questionable.
Appalachian living, man.
But good guy. Good guy.
No,
Yeah.
great guy.
The mountain
Anyway,
air. Crazy things happen up in the mountains.
Anyway, that's our show, man. I mean, Eddie, do you have anything coming up on your channel? You had an episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, I know I've been in this transitional
Yeah.
period because I haven't had like a steady home, and I've been busy with a lot of shit. I told you about some of it, Al. So I just been busy. So unfortunately, I've been working on a video I've been editing for like a month now. But that should be up next week. It should be Miles Davis. First time I did like a jazz video, so that's
Okay.
kind of that'll be fun. So I did that. That shit probably Monday. I mean, I always try to shoot for Monday because Monday's a good time to upload a YouTube video. So I think I will have an actual new video this Monday. And but that's pretty much it for now. Once I get settled in my new place in Nashville, like a month from now or two, then I'm gonna get back into it like hardcore, like and really start doing it again. But in the meantime, I'll have this like one transitional video for this weird period in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
'Cause I've been wanting to get you on here, but I don't know where you're at. So
I'm here. I'm like here for a couple more weeks. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm doing things here and there, but I'll get back into the groove again. But it's been kind of a weird time, but it's fine. But yeah, this new video will be up next week. It'll be cool. Even if you don't like jazz shit, I still say some funny shit in it. So, people might like it regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the thing is that I'm starting to get into Miles Davis because of the talks we've had about him. So,
Well, definitely, we'll definitely check that out then, because I
I will.
talk about Miles Davis in that fucking video. So there you go.
I just bought on CD. I think it's called. I know that I don't have the album named right, but Tales of Spain or something like that.
Sketches of Spain.
Sketches of Spain.
Yeah, I don't talk about that album, but it is a great album. That's a great album. I love that album.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it was early 60s, 62.
Yeah, early 60s. I focus my videos about the mid 60s,
Okay.
stuff. It's pretty good though. I mean,
All right,
I
man.
like it anyway. It's a good video, I think. So
All right, awesome, man. So Almost Human live on Thursday with Malice. Dr. Fuck talks about Malice, and who do you got? Tony Dio on it.
That's not Almost Human Live. I got an episode tomorrow about talking about Malice.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
This week on Almost Human Live, we're going to be talking about Venom.
Oh God, yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. So awesome. Thank you so much, Ralph. Appreciate it, brother. Eddie,
Thanks, guys.
I'll
Thanks.
talk to you. I'll talk
Always
to you
good.
soon.
always good talking to you guys.
Ralph,
Later,
Ralph,
brothers.
let me know when that barbecue is gonna happen, brother.
Oh, for sure, man. Too bad Eddie would be gone. You could have brought him.
What was that? What are you aiming for? Like end of the summer or something like that?
2 months tops.
All right.
Yeah, I probably won't be around. If for any reason I am, I'll let you guys know.
All right.
Definitely come. I'd love to have you here. You know?
I'll take
Yeah.
the drive down there, man. Me
All right.
and Manny will go down. So
I'm gonna hide my Dokken album, my live album, because I stole it from Edwin.
I had to replace it. I do have that album, but not the original one that Ralph stole from me.
Ah.
All right,
All
thanks, guys. Thanks.
all right, guys. See you next Wednesday or next Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And,
next Tuesday.
And,
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.
and happy birthday, Al.
Yeah,
Happy birthday!
Al.
Because it happened tonight. It was
Thanks
really
a lot.
your
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Al.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night, man.
Later.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.